Christmas Eve is slowly fading. Can you hear him in the night? Close the door, turn out the light.
Santa's watching, Santa's creeping. Now you're nodding, now you're sleeping. Were you good for Mom and Dad? Santa knows if you've been bad. There might be a treat for you in Santa's bag of toys. But Christmas won't be fun and games for naughty girls and boys.
All right. What's up? I'm up. Oh, shit. Okay, Exploding Heads. I might have to do a retake, a Moods retake. Did anyone listen to Moods on that last show? He did like 5 retakes.
Really?
I was on that show.
Oh, you were on that show? Of course you heard it. You were right on the damn thing.
I was the one who told JP he's got to put all those extra takes in there because we were laughing our asses off. It was so funny. So funny.
But see, this guy belongs behind the scenes. Without you, they never would have thought to do that, right?
I'm sure they would have, but I'm taking credit for it.
You have to take credit. They do how many shows and Moots fucks up how many times? They never done that before.
He takes them 10 takes to record his own, or whatever they say.
That's right. So there you go. So hey, this is the Exploding Heads Horror Podcast. I'm Dave Z. I'm here with Brandon. I'm here with Christian. And if you don't like the intro, I can't be great every time. I mean,
yeah. And like we always say, go fuck yourselves.
Hey, that's right. Right?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah,
let's
say
that.
Show. I feel bad for saying go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves, and happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah, Jews.
Happy Hanukkah, Jews. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Well, we can say what we want. I mean, this is Trump's America now. We don't have to be politically correct, so Merry Christmas.
Grab the world by the pussy.
Yeah, grab Christmas by the pussy.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I have a problem with that. Pussy. What if the pussy's shaved? There's just nothing to grab onto there. You're all slipping and sliding all over the place. There's like no actual tough.
Well, think about this. If you suddenly grab one out of nowhere, it's not going to be wet, right?
Well, it depends if they've seen my face yet.
I'm talking about...
That's like instant Niagara Falls for most women.
Oh!
Oh! Clay!
You're getting peed on. You do realize you're being peed on.
Yeah. I love golden showers, so it's fine.
Yeah. See? Now it comes out. It's never ass to mouth. It's
always mouth to ass.
Always mouth to ass and golden showers.
Yeah. ATM, guys. ATM for Christmas.
ATM. No, MTA.
MTA, yeah. Sorry, I'm screwing my own joke up.
Yeah, MTA in your household. That's good.
The whole joke was, what kind of dyslexic chick came up with that?
I guess you haven't watched enough porno. I can't say. I'm not going to get into that on the show. We've already started off disgusting enough. I mean, this is a horror podcast. So, guys, I hope you're still listening and you haven't abandoned ship yet with all this ass, and we won't even get into Bleach, right? We talked about Trump. We talked about assholes, pussies. Enough!
We're topical. Wow. We're topical.
Enough about my co-hosts. Asses and pussies.
Oh.
But enough about the co-hosts.
Okay, all right. As long as I'm in the festive mood and Brandon opened his mouth, I'm going to sing a song. All right? I have my own Christmas song.
Shoot. Go ahead, shoot.
Okay? All right. Okay. Clickety clack clack clickety clack clack clickety clack clack clickety clack clack. Philip the black goat is a very evil soul with horns on his head and a coven of witches and a taste for Brandon's asshole. Woo!
Oh, you got to keep going with that.
I only wrote
Took him 3 weeks to write that one verse.
Oh,
Thank you. Exactly. It took enough time, right?
that is the
What
gift
am
that
I?
keeps on giving.
That's right. Just like Black Phillip's asshole.
Yeah.
Or Brandon's.
Looks like
So-
the Lincoln Tunnel.
There you go. All right. That's how we're starting the show. Asshole talk and Black Phillip and everything else.
Is that the same song you were going to sing, Brandon?
yeah.
That was not the same song I was gonna sing.
All around the world, same song. So you're going to do a song later.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official?
Yeah, just a verse.
Did you
Just a
not
lot.
want... Well, I just did a verse, and I got insulted. Didn't you say I should do more? Or was that Christian?
That was Christian.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, well,
I want
take
more.
that.
I want more.
I want more too.
Next show. Next show I'll do more.
Well, you'll
I want
get
a
more
year
later.
end.
Time.
I want a year-end incorporating all the movies from 2016.
All 110 movies I watched? Yeah, okay. It'll be like, I don't know what it will be. It'll be a real long one. It'll be like that Bye Bye
It'd be like we didn't start the fire.
Okay,
You
yeah.
have to get everything in there. You know.
Okay. I'll write it. I'll start writing tonight.
Okay.
And everybody will fucking hate it, and they'll turn it off.
Probably.
Yeah, we can't do it. So yeah, Brandon, I don't know if you wanted people to know that he was going to sing a song later, but the cat's out the bag. He might not do it now. I don't know.
Don't know.
All right, well, stay tuned. Okay, let's get right into emails and shit. Oh yeah, we have to talk about our friend. What's his name? Derek. Derek got left off of the last show, the anniversary show. He gave us a voicemail. I think it was the last voicemail we had, and we had a shitload. Thank you again, everyone. And it was left out, so it was an accident. It just kind of happens. And but here's the funny part. Derek was supposed to be on this show once upon a time. Is this true, Brandon?
Yes. Episode 26.
Episode 26. Is that what this is? Yes.
This is.
Okay. Okay. Initially, Derek was supposed to come on as a guest on this show. And now, he's not. Because he's big timing us. You know? He's on
He's on the number 2 show.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually taking a step back.
See what happens?
Like,
Yes.
I don't want to be on the number 1 show. I don't want all that pressure. Let me go to the number 2 show.
That explains it. Okay, you let him off the hook. It was.
I told them last week when I guested on their show how relieved it was to not really have to put in any effort. Being on such an inferior show.
Nice.
Did you say that on air? On air.
Yes,
All
I did.
recorded? Okay.
Yeah, I heard it. It's true.
Coming
And
at
yes,
you live.
Coming at you live. We did take the number 1 spot. We weren't sure, and we pulled it off. So thank you, listeners, because the number 1 and the number 3 spot. So
E.
we're moving up in the world. You know?
Moving on up.
Yeah, we're becoming tier 4 or something. We're getting there.
Hey,
So let me get on.
yeah, you
Go ahead.
go, get on it.
Go. All right, hold on. Let me if I can. Let's try to play this message from Derek.
Hey, what's going on, buddies? Derek here. Just wishing you guys a happy anniversary. I know it's your year show. Good stuff, man. It's been a while. I've been here for all the ride, and you guys have been holding it down on the Exploding Heads. And Dave, had fun with you on the Argento show, man. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
Had a blast. Of course, Winghauser for life.
Woo! The Carpenter.
But all good stuff in the hood. Thanks, guys, for always listening to my voicemails and taking time to answer my questions. And I don't actually have any questions for you right now, but in the future I will. I just couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. So, say easy peasy, guys. And as always, Brandon, stay nasally as ever. Peace out.
Thanks, DB.
Thanks for thinking of us. It would have been nice if you thought about it 2 weeks ago.
Oh shit. Well, thank you. It worked out. He wasn't supposed to be on. He was supposed to be on the show. He big timed us. That's funny because they tease you. They call you big time, Brandon, right? Because you stopped sending voicemails since you got on this show. And
I thought it was because his
Derek,
cock was huge.
well, that is also a prerequisite to be on the show. So yeah.
How did I manage to get on?
Oh.
Stuff
time.
2 stocks down there. Everybody thinks you're packing.
Shh! Don't tell anybody. Boy, oh boy. your secret was safe with me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
That was my wife.
So yeah, your wife. Wow, let's get her on next show. How's that? We'll ask her. So yeah, thanks, Derek. Wish you were here, but yeah, you kind of are here, so it kind of worked out. So yeah, we'll take the voicemail, and he's the permanent guest host over there, so you can big time it all night long, homie. We'll be listening to you. So another voicemail, and check it out.
Yo, what's up, guys? JP here from Pennsylvania, your homie from the 22 Shots podcast. I just wanted to call in and ask you guys a question for your Christmas episode, which is not Christmas related. I was recently thinking about a conversation we had back on the 22 Shots about the state of sort of the culture and if it reflects the type of films that we get. So, for example, post-Vietnam era, early 70s, we got a lot more violent films. And then sort of, I guess, in the 80s, and, we got a lot of slashes and stuff. Not really sure what that could have existed for. But in the 90s, it was sort of a lull. There wasn't very many big things going on in the world. Everybody was kind of happy. And then, post 9/11, we got a lot more violence. And then in the mid-2000s, we got a ton of remakes where people have said that might be sort of people wanting to go back to when times were decent and sort of a nostalgic factor because things sucked so bad. I just want to know if you guys have any idea or any opinions on if that stuff is true or not, if you think there's any weight to that theory. I think there is, but maybe not a ton. So, sorry about the call quality. The speaker broke on my phone, so it's on speakerphone. I don't know if you guys can hear me too good, but take it easy, guys. Peace.
All right. It did sound fine, right?
That was a Stephen Carpenter length message.
It was a good question too, and yeah, there is definitely validity to that. Obviously, I remember Roger Ebert went on a rant during one of his, I think it was Friday the 13th, reviews talking about. Oh, I think it was Siskel actually. Siskel.
It was Siskel,
and you talked about how the slasher film was a response to sort of the women's movement and rise of feminism. I don't agree at all. In retrospect, we could sort of see that wasn't it. It just happened to be that there's a ton of misogynist films at the same time as well. But that, I don't think, had any relevance to that. It'd be interesting to see what comes out of the wake of the recent political situation in the States.
The only women's movement I'm for is from the kitchen to the laundry room.
Oh, that is unacceptable. Oh, wow.
Goodbye, female
there
listeners.
Goes. Yeah, damn it. Well, now we've officially offended everybody.
Now we've become a tier 5 podcast.
We're all misogynists here. It's come out. Everyone. Matter of fact, I don't even use that term. I'm so misogynist that I call it Mr. Misogynist. Fuck Miss.
Wow, you guys had, I didn't realize you were so deep rooted.
No, just kidding, ladies. You know I love you. No.
Yeah, I'm kidding too.
I have a daughter, for God's sake. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but do you have a daughter that you'd want to date? I don't know. Did you see that thing with Trump?
What, am I Trump?
Wanting to date his daughter or sleep with his daughter. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but
that was years ago. That was said.
Oh, that was said years ago, but of course, all this stuff comes up now to make him look even more twisted and evil.
Right.
He's more machine now than man.
Very good.
What do you think? More slasher films? I think this will just have a rise. I agree, Dave. You said something in another episode that I think I can link to this, where we were talking about the rise of the slasher film, and every week there's another slasher film. And what do we have now? And you're saying the new independent movement, and I think you're absolutely right. I think it's like we were talking about when we were like, we've got to make a movie, Exploded Heads movie, and you're like, and Brandon went on and said there are people doing this now. Some are great, and some are garbage, but that's exactly what we had back in the 80s, and it's circular. And I have a feeling we're just going to get more and more of these independently produced movies. They might get maybe a little bit more mean-spirited.
Well, I think of a film last year like Hellions, which was sort of like a statement against abortion, and I think that with everything that's going on now, we're going to see a rise in political messages being part of directors or writers' agenda when it comes to making films. Not that it never was. It's there in some films, in some. But I could also see just making silly political slashers. You know how they have like these Abe Lincoln vampire hunters? I could see them doing a lot of spoof type stuff with everything that's going on now.
Yes, but we're just going to see a couple from a few directors. I don't subscribe to that theory that it really changes the horror landscape that much. I never have.
Not like it did.
No, and when Bush was in office, you had a couple things like that. It seems like you didn't see a whole lot of slant against Obama, just to get into the politics. Now that Trump, yes, you know there's going to be shit with Trump. When Bush was there, you did see some things, mostly because of wartime shit. Remember they did that Masters of Horror episode? When everybody was coming
because
back?
of the response to 9/11 at that point, that's where everything sort of became a little bit more, I guess, like JP said in his message, a cry for nostalgia and like simpler times, which was the onset of the remake and whatever, but which also led to gorier movies in the cinema, because of course then we had CSI and everything on TV showing us things we'd never seen on TV or pushing the limits of TV, so the movies had to sort of up the ante a little bit, so they got a little looser with the censorship in the theater.
Which CSI did you watch, Christian? CSI Manitoba?
Yeah, Manitoba.
But I'll tell you what, TV is fucking violent.
Who song did they play for that?
What did they play? Tommy or something?
They played a Rush song. They played a Rush song.
Now, of course they played a Rush song, yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
They played Trees or some shit, you know?
Have I mentioned this episode how I hate you two? Does that come up
nice. Well, listen. I don't think... Yeah, we love you too.
One love.
Yeah, one love. One head. I don't think it matters that much. I think you'll see a few directors do things. I think you always have. You had Romero doing his stuff. He had misstatements politically and shit like that. But more than just politics, I just don't... Like, the 80s were a fucked up time. People were supposed to be happy in the 80s, right? But we had all those slashers, and yeah, they were cheesy fun, and that's true, but they were violent at the same time. And now the 90s. JP says that people are happy in the 90s. I disagree. I think people were more miserable in the 90s than in years. But that was when grunge came out, and that's when everybody started feeling fucking... People were having heroin overdoses, and people were... All the lyrics were all fucking negative. Take a look around. I mean, everything went... Like, gangster rap started in, like, the 80s, but then everything got real hardcore rap in the 90s. The fucking music, the grunge, everything was, like, kind of negative. So, I don't know. I disagree. I don't think people were happy. That's when everybody started feeling fucking Generation Xers and Yers and fucking, you know, just... all this stuff, the dynamic of everything that was going on in this country, you know, coming from divorced houses and the economy and shit. I don't know. And as far as, like, what's happening now and the whole remake thing, granted, it started in the 2000s, but it really got crazy the last, 10 years? I mean, I think it's just fucking lack of creativity. I don't look that deeply into it. That's all I think it is. It's like member berries. You guys watch South Park when they do that shit or no? The whole
member
South
berries? Park in years, unfortunately.
Oh, you're missing.
Love it. It's funny, but I haven't seen it in years.
Well, they're doing these things now, and the last season and this season they do it like serial way, where it's a connected show. It's like a long show. It's connected, so you have to keep up. But this season they're doing this thing called member berries, and it's basically these little berries, and they're like, "Member Chewbacca? Oh, member Ghostbusters?" And they're just making a joke about fucking how everything's being remade and rebooted and all this shit to try to make people happy because whatever. I mean, to distract them from what's really going on in the world, shit like that. I don't know. It could be that. I don't put too much into that. Like JP, he says he does to a degree. I barely do. I just think it's the evolution of horror, right? Of course it's going to get more hardcore. It's like anything. It's just, it progresses, and ever since violence started, we had the MPAA for a while. Now, just like Christian was saying, the violence on TV. I was watching American Horror Story. and I'm catching up. And then, of course, I saw Walking Dead, a couple of those early episodes this season. And the fucking gore, I was thinking, I'm like, the gore that I'm seeing right now, I'm like standing up fucking cheering, going, yeah! We would have never seen that.
Now that's
in
gore.
That's right! Dude, I was loving it. But think about this. The New Blood, all right? Brandon New Blood. Look how much was cut from that movie. And that's an R-rated movie. This is television, TV mature, whatever, but... what do you guys think? I mean, like I said, I don't think that I don't think it has to do with the times. I just think it's the natural evolution of the genre.
The downfalls, I think we always have to look at it from a retrospective standpoint. So it's something that we might not notice happening now, but when we look back 3-5 years down the road at this time, we might be able to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, because the gore films they're definitely getting more mean-spirited, but at the same time, there's a lot more thought-provoking horror films out there now. Just look in the last couple of years, Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, It Follows. This year, you have stuff like The Witch, you got Neon Demon. It's a lot of thought-provoking stuff with minimal, well, not Neon Demon, but some of the others with minimal to no violence whatsoever.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I don't know if you guys read this earlier. It was just actually today. There's not one, but 4 new horror films coming about Mexicans building a wall.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just totally. I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck! I was like 4. What the? Where'd you get the scoop? What the fuck? I was shocked.
4 separate. One told from the perspective of the Mexican.
It's going to be a quadrilogy?
Yeah.
It's going to be like Lord of the Rings, and it's going to be an epic fucking thing about Mexicans in the wall.
Anyway, I'm dragging this bad joke out longer than it needed to be.
Well, that's a great question, JP, and I almost wish you were here for the discussion, because I think you think a little differently about it than I do. And these guys... I don't know. Do you guys agree more with what I'm saying or what JP is saying? Do you think it's reflective of the times, or do you just think it's natural?
I think it is reflective of the times. There's some coincidence, like you said too, but I think you could sort of pinpoint certain styles and movie types based on the time frame that they came out.
Yeah, it just seems to me that there are a few movies each year, but I don't think it's the grand. I don't think the entire landscape. I don't think it greatly influences it. I just think you're always gonna have a couple guys, directors or whoever, or writers that are gonna do things that are time appropriate or what's going on at the time. But I don't think it's as broad as a lot of people think. I just think that some guys have opinions on it, like artists. I mean, not how many artists are political? Not very many. I'm talking about musical bands. You get a couple. You know what I mean? But I mean, 90% of them are not. They're just making music.
Yeah.
And the other guys have something to say.
I still feel like we're in a very nostalgia type time frame. I used Star Wars last year, Force Awakens. I still think if they wanted to do the new Friday the 13th, the best way would be to bring it back into an 80s feel. That's why I like the Final Girls last year so much. I still feel like we're in this sort of era or time frame of nostalgia. We love those films from the earlier 80s. Someone actually wrote a question. I think it was in our anniversary show, why do we give more weight, more validity to like Return of the Living Dead or Reanimate or Dawn of the Dead? Because they maybe, but they defined the kind of the genre. Well, more so Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. But those films, and then a movie comes out this year and we're kind of not as quick to jump on and say it's a classic. But I think a classic is something that stands the test of time. So unfortunately, time plays into that, and then that's why I say Shaun of the Dead now is what 13 years old, whatever.
Yeah,
2004.
Yeah, I consider that a modern classic.
And I'm with you. And there have been plenty of modern classics, I think. Now.
What about all the found footage and internet related? Unfriended, The Den. That's definitely reflective of the times.
The reality television, the everybody wants to be a star.
Yeah.
YouTube
fandom. All the technology. Everything's found footage. Even a film like The Shallows.
That's true.
We wouldn't have seen that 20 years ago. She would have just been trying to survive for her life, not texting and.
That's true. It's going to timestamp everything, is what it's doing.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying when we were talking about that film.
That's not a bad thing, because that helps feed some nostalgia when you look back 20 years from now and watch it and be like, oh, remember when selfie sticks were a big thing, or remember when flip phones were a big thing?
Right. It's true. Don't you do it now when you look at shit from the 80s? I mean, I love that stuff because I was there, and it was a happy time, and, you know, people wearing fucking ridiculous clothes and big hair and all that stuff, and the music. It's great. You know, now...
15 years
I don't
ago,
think
I
don't
had
think
that same selfie stick. Sorry, Brandon. I cut you off there, I think.
No, I was going to say, I don't think films have to hold up through the test of time. I think they can be dated and still be classics.
I agree. It adds to it, I think. I dig it. But, man, that's a thought-provoking question. I'll tell you that. So thanks, JP. Wow. So that's it for voicemails. Nice and quick. Now we have a few emails. We have BC over here. Our homie. Headers, I realize that it has been mentioned before that you guys aren't much into video games, but I am wondering, if you found out that your life was indeed a video game, what kind of game would it be? Example, platformer, Japanese RPG, bullet hell, etc. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and blissful Boxing Day. BC.
What's that last one? Bullet head?
Boxing Day?
No, not Boxing Day. The last gaming platform. Bullet head?
Bullet hell.
Bullet hell? What the hell is that?
I'm guessing. I don't know because I'm not a gamer. I'm guessing bullet hell might be like
shoot 'em game?
First-person shooter.
Well, that's what I call a first-person shooter. That's bizarre. So maybe it's a total separate genre or subgenre of game.
I would say if he had asked this question right after I'd finished eating on Thanksgiving, I'd probably compare myself to Call of Duty. Or more of Call of Massive Diarrhea. But
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
It's a good one.
Nice.
I'm probably a role-playing game, but I'm not even the main character in it.
No, Black Phillip is. You're the other one.
I'm not even in the game.
Getting the stuffing from both ends. I would say mine would be like a platformer / first-person shooter. Platformer seems like the best way. All different levels. That represents different time frames in your life.
That's what a platformer is?
Platformers like Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, Crash Bandicoot, those games.
So it's a side-scrolling adventure thing.
Yeah, old school would be side-scrolling, and then now they've become 3D, where you're not sort of side-scrolling anymore. You can be going ahead and you're jumping over stuff.
Shouldn't Dave be Mario since he's a short Italian?
Yeah, I'll be Luigi, your cousin.
Okay.
Are we brothers or cousins? I forget.
And I'll be Princess Peach.
Yeah, brothers. Super Mario Brothers. What do you say,
Princess Peach?
Please
shove it.
Two things.
Please shove a toadstool up my ass.
Two things I can't believe I screwed up. But first off, I was laughing because Brandon said he'd be Princess Peach, and that killed me. Second, I'm like, are they brothers or cousins? Super Mario Brothers.
It's in the fucking title. Are they brothers or Super Mario cousins? Are you fucking serious?
I am serious. I fucked that up. That's brilliant. My stupidity is brilliant.
Oh, it is. That was worth that question alone. As confused as I am about this question. Super Mario, are they brothers or cousins? What the fuck?
That was legit. I'm legitimately stupid. Holy smoke.
So you're saying that basically Christian and myself are supposed to be on a mission to save Brandon. Yeah. That's what's going on here. That's your Princess Peach. And we're Mario and Luigi.
I'm trapped in my own mind. So basically my game should be a first-person shooter taking place in my mind where I'm killing all the demons and voices that are haunting me.
That's deep.
That is deep.
So, Christian, you want to be constantly having goals, and then at the end of the goal, you start back over and it's a new goal. It just never ends? Because that's like what Mario is. Eventually you get the princess, but...
Yeah, eventually you score the big prize, but yeah, there's always got to be like something you're striving for, right?
Yeah.
And then the sequel comes out and you got to save her all over again.
Well, there you go. Mario 2, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you could choose to be Mario, Luigi, Peach, and somebody else.
Toad.
Yoshi.
Toad?
Yoshi?
No, Toad.
Toad.
Toad
Yeah.
was the other one.
Yeah, it was Toad, the little guy with the head, with the fucking...
With the
you know.
toad head.
What a Yoshi.
Yoshi came later.
You could ride Yoshi, I think, in that one,
Like
but
Dino from the Flintstones.
but it was Toad was the four. Trust me, I love that game.
It was
and it was
awesome.
all a dream in the end.
Part 2.
It was all a dream?
Yeah, when you beat the game, you find out that Mario was dreaming the whole thing.
It was all a dream. Wow.
They went all Newhart.
Yeah.
On Mario Cousins too.
Mario Cousins 2. There's a cliche that didn't even work in video games. Mario Cousins 2.
Mario's second cousins once removed. 3. All right, I guess I'd be more of a Link guy. I think I'd be Link. You know, it would be like a big thing to overcome, and it would not be easy at all. Everything is a fucking puzzle. Just when you think you got something figured out, some other fucking crazy thing comes out of the left field. Then you beat these guys. Now you got to beat these guys. So yeah, I think that's a good one.
The missing link.
The missing link. Yeah, that would be me. That would be me. Okay, so thank you for that. We have one more email, and it's not even a question, but it is. This is from Marnie Maudsley, and she says...
Marnie!
Yeah. Hey, guys,
Amen.
keep forgetting to send in my iTunes review, but here it is. Cheers, Marnie, check it out. Because it's from the land down under, we don't get to see it. So now we have, I believe, four from Australia. So she's in on the mix. But I'm
Big
going
in
to
Australia. We're huge.
Yeah, we're big in Australia. Yes. Nice. So,
Oi.
Hashtag save Black Phillip. If you're looking for a laugh when listening to a horror podcast, then check out the Exploding Heads. With 3 great hosts, each episode comes with lots of laughs. They know their horror, and always good to hear their views on different films. Do check out this podcast. P.S. Brandon, you better be being a gentleman to Black Phillip. Marnie.
What does that mean? You have to just pet him for a little bit first?
Yeah.
A little foreplay.
Pillow talk?
A little foreplay? You play with the teats? Oh, no, wait. Do male goats have teats? No, of course not. No, it's only female. Yeah, aren't they called...
Thank God something took over for my Mario Cousins.
Don't they call them teats? Isn't that their fucking, their nipples? Their sucklings? Right?
Yeah, those are on the females.
Okay, they're only... Well, I don't know. I don't fucking hang around goats. What do I know?
What do you mean? All females nurse their young.
Okay.
With their teats.
Yeah.
It's gotten very creepy in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is a creepy show.
All right. So, we now have 4 Australian reviews. We have 1 from New Zealand, and we have 1 from Canada. Am I correct?
1.
Yeah. So that's an extra 6 on top of our other ones. And on the other one...
We should be getting more, too, because I posted a giveaway for our next episode. A double giveaway. 2-person giveaway.
Really?
I said all you have to do is give us a review on iTunes, and I said if you've already done that, leave us an email or a voicemail.
We had 23 on there, and now if you add 4 Australian, a Canadian, and a New Zealand, that's 6 more. How many is that? 4?
20.
This is American math.
4, 5,
carry the
6. Oh, we're short 1. So next time we get a review, it's an official 30.
8. Free swag.
Yeah,
How come no Mexican reviews? You don't like us in Mexico?
JP reviewed us.
Yes, he did. So, guys, iTunes. It just takes 10 seconds. Get on there, do something, a little something for this show. That's all we ask. Go on, and if you don't have an iTunes, you don't need to even be messing with it. You can just create an iTunes account and get on there, and it takes freaking 15 seconds. And write us a review, and you're in on the drawing, and it helps us a lot. So, there you
or Stitcher.
have it.
If you don't use iTunes and use Stitcher. I didn't even realize I had reviews for TJF13 on Stitcher. So we should check Stitcher and make sure that people haven't been leaving reviews there.
Maybe, because then that would make 30. Okay, I will check Stitcher before next show.
Yeah.
I can
free movies and free swag coming your way.
Speaking of all this stuff, I finally jumped on Horrormino again. It's been a long time. I realized I hadn't been on it for a while. I like that app. It's cool.
See,
I've friended a bunch
you.
of people that are following the show. The show seems like it's got a great following there, which is great. But yeah, no, I like the way it's set up. They make it really kind of cool. I think it's just that I really think I should just spend more time on it because it's geared to what I want. But I think it's just because of the sheer amount of Facebook, Twitter. It's just something else. I haven't gotten into Instagram. My family keeps going, get into Instagram. I'm like, fuck Instagram. Too many things to fart around with, man. I got to talk to people.
Dude, I just do it for the show. I'm going to create an Instagram for the show. I don't know when, but I do plan to because it's free advertising. So why not? I don't have anything personal at all. Everything I have is just show related, except for the Facebook. But I mean, it's still show related. All the talk I do is just with you guys and people in the horror family. I'm not on there talking about my daughter and fucking birthday parties and Merry Christmas and this and I don't do that shit. I did it on my old account. I took that completely out of my life. I took it out. I'm done with it.
Glad to know you removed your daughter and Christmas from your life.
Well, I didn't remove it. I removed it for the public.
From
Nobody
the Facebook life.
Yeah, nobody gets to know anything personal.
And I'm still pushing the old formats really hard. I'm still advertising and pushing us on MySpace and on Napster and
Betamax
and really advertising to Palm Pilots and stuff. Really, really working hard.
Yeah, we got a message board site on what's that thing called? Oh, I forgot what. Firestar. What's that shit called? Angel Fire. We got a website. Fucking message boards. All that good stuff.
We're huge on AOL.
AOL, yeah, of course. Yep. We're on the Yahoo Messenger. Exploding Heads. Yahoo Messenger. You could talk to us directly on it. We're in chat rooms. But yeah, let me pimp quick then. Pimp quick. That sounds good.
Sounds like a chocolate milk.
Pimp quick? Chocolate milk?
Nestle's Pimp Quick.
Yeah, it comes from the teat of Black Phillip.
The male teat.
That would be dark chocolate milk.
Well, Black Phillip could have teats. I mean, he's universal. He doesn't have a sex. Oh wait, no, Brandon does he? I know he would know.
He does.
Okay.
That's why I sound hoarse tonight.
Oh, fuck. Shit. So yeah, get on the Facebook group page. We're there. It's growing, but it's not growing enough. We want to see tons more action. So just get onto Facebook and type in Exploding Heads Horror Podcast and join the group and get in. Horror Amino, it's just Exploding Heads Horror Podcast. And Twitter, Exploding Heads at EH Horror Podcast. And that's it. And if you want to email us, really easy, explodingheadshorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to send us a voicemail, I'm going to tell you what the number is, but I'm going to waste a second because I don't know it offhand, and I'm going to have to go on Facebook to look it up. So let me go to our wonderful group page, Exploding Heads Horror Podcast. Let me click on info. And there you go, guys. If you're on that group page, you don't have to ask me what the things are, what the numbers and what the email is. It's at the top info. So voicemail is 702-625-2224. 702-625-2224. Boom. And iTunes. Leave us a review on iTunes or subscribe on iTunes at the very least. Anytime a new episode comes, there you go. It comes to your device directly. That's enough pimp time. All right, what's next, guys? 2016 movies. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I got some catching up to do because, but I did get 4 done, at least. I feel like I'm missing one. I'm happy with 4.
Let's hear it.
Neon Demon, The Windmill Massacre, Trash Fire, and The Monster.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
All of them were great.
Nice.
All 4 were great.
Neon Demon, Windmill Massacre, Trash Fire, and The Monster?
Yeah. All 4,
yes!
All 4 were great.
What's your lowest rating?
8 out of 10.
Nice.
I got to do rewatches. The problem with it is I've got to do rewatches, but I'm still doing first watches because I've got to catch up with a lot of movies. So where you guys were hitting like 100 and 150, what was it, Brandon?
I'm at 120. I'm
120,
done.
120, and 100. I still I made a pack. I had 40 that I wanted to try to watch. So that's 4 down, 36 more to go. But that's not all. That's not all the ones that I've watched, because I've watched a ton from earlier, not a ton, but a few from earlier in the year as well. So it'll still be a pittance compared to what you guys did. I think when all is said and done, we're talking about probably 50 to 60 movies.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, if you want to shoot them by us, some of those first-time watches, we could tell you whether it's worth it or not.
Well, I think a lot of them I wrote down or I asterisked based on if you guys had recommended them or gave them a favorable review. Like Scare Campaign, you guys both seem to talk highly about, so I took that and watched it. I was very happy with Scare Campaign.
It's not getting much pub. You don't hear many people talking about it.
Oh,
I don't know why.
It was great. The Windmill Massacre really. Hey, Dave, you pumped it, and actually, I don't think I heard anybody before that. It was on your November or October challenge, and it's a great slasher movie. It's a little hokey,
old school,
a little hokey in two parts, two scenes. It's not, and it could have had a bigger finish, but it didn't matter. You're right, old school, and it was fun as hell.
Yes, it's what I want a slasher to be. It's an easy formula. Why don't we see enough of these? Why do we only see 2 or 3 a year if we're lucky? You know, but that's one.
Did you guys see The Monster? Because I don't know if I want to go into detail about it yet.
I saw it. I liked it all. Last show I discussed it. I said I gave it a 7.5, and I actually kind of got into. Not a spoiler, but I said there was one thing I didn't like, and it was basically what happened to the monster at the end and how it happened. Sure. I think a lot of people are going to like this movie because there's no comedy. And it's just straightforward monster. It's not bullshit. You know what I mean? I think people are like that aspect of it. So I think it's going to get a lot of high ratings. And I do like those aspects. Like I said, my only beef was what I said. And it's not a major beef, but it's enough that I was going to give it an 8 and knocked it down to a 7.5, which is not a bad movie by any means. Just I wouldn't expect it to see it on my top 10. That's all. And I think that movie is going to make top 10s of people.
Yeah. I think this year especially, I think you're going to have to be at 8.5 or higher to make my top 10.
I'm with you.
Well, just so you know, Lake Erie and Carnage Park were both on the to-watch list, but just didn't make it for this show.
Well, I saw Carnage Park a little bit ago, and I was not impressed. I think I gave it like a 6.
And I've heard very, very poor reviews for Lake Erie.
Well, you know what? Lake Erie, I also give it a 6. I watched it just recently, and I like the way it ended. It was kind of strange. Speaking of Lake Erie, hold on a second. I have a recording here of a scene from Lake Erie, which I found amusing. Hold on a second, and you'll know why when I play it.
Hello, Kate.
This must be a dream.
You are correct.
Would I owe this honor of seeing you so soon, Mr. Lloyd?
I just got a kick out of Mr. Lloyd. But you heard that dialogue. It was kind of weird and lame and didn't sound so great. But it was a fucked up movie.
I've got a recording for you guys that I wanted to play on the show last week, and I didn't have a chance to. So
let's hear it, man.
It's not too loud. You tell me how it sounds.
Lipschitz. Do you Lipschitz? Lipschitz knows best, too. The Lipschitz says this. Lipschitz, the Lipschitz says that. Lipschitz. And I never knew what the Lipschitz was. Dr. Lipschitz, I didn't know you read Lipschitz. Lipschitz. They left us with the Lipschitz. Don't course. Remember Dr. Lipschitz.
Ja. Nou, where's the goulash?
Supposedly there's a Dr. Lipschitz on the show Rugrats, the cartoon Rugrats. And that's like a big, that was a big send-off of Dr. Lipschitz on that show.
Oh, man.
You got to play that for your father. Dr. Lipschitz. You know, what's he going to say? Oh, fuck.
I'll play that for him.
Brandon, my boy. He's gonna. What do you want I should do? I got ears, eyes, and nose bleed. A mild rumbling in the head. Get Dr. Lipschitz on the phone.
Is that Jewish? Is that supposed to be Jewish?
I guess.
He's a Polish immigrant, apparently.
What do you want I should do? I don't know.
Dr. Lipschitz on the phone.
Get Dr. Lipschitz on the phone, Brandon. Does he sound like your father or no?
Not at all.
Damn. Your dad was probably born in Jersey, and is like,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm doing? I'm doing a Mel Brooks imitation of a Jewish guy. That's totally like a Mel Brooks, right? You familiar with Mel Brooks movies, Brandon?
Yes, I'm familiar with Mel Brooks.
Okay.
And
Well, I mean, I don't know if you watch his movies or not. I'm just saying.
I do.
Okay. But isn't that the way he talks? Hey, what do you do? Dr. Lipschitz. I don't know. I grew up with Mel Brooks, so that was the best I had, you know. Dr. Lipschitz. So, yeah, where the hell were we? 2016.
Your movies, yeah. You guys,
Okay.
your 2016 watches.
I'm up to 108, but it's going to actually, I was going to stop, but it's going to end up being 110 because there's a new found footage movie that came out called Hell something.
Hell Night.
Not Hell Night, no.
Yes.
I don't know what the...
Hell Night LLC?
Yeah. Is Hell Night or Hell Hotel or something?
I think it's Hell Night LLC.
Well, whatever it is, it's Hell something else. Maybe it is Night. I don't know. Hell Night sounds too generic because there's been a Hell Night movie. Either way.
Like that stopped them.
Right. Well, I started watching it last night, and I got tired and I had to stop because I heard it was found footage and it was recommended, so I got to see that. It's found footage. So I got into it, and I was so far so good. I stopped, and there's one more movie that's going to come out. Beyond the Gates is going to come out by the time we record next show, the top 10. So I'm going to actually end up being at 110. But
Hell House LLC.
Hell House. See, I knew it wasn't Hell Night. Okay, but Trash Fire. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. Did I have a beef with it? No, it was kind of slow to start. Once it got going, once they got to the house they had to get to, it was great. I really enjoyed it. I loved the way it ended. You know, you didn't know where it was going to go. And I didn't even mind that there was somebody with an affliction in the film. At first I was like, oh no, when they show this person, I don't like it. But no, it ended up being...
Uh-oh, Dr. Balchinian.
Yeah. Dr. Balchinian. Now he's a doctor too?
They talked about when they're having sex and she goes, your balls smell.
Yeah. That's when they're kissing.
Yeah. I can see people not liking this movie because it's scripted. Well, I mean, you could go back to his other two films to see if you like his style, but it's because his other films are Excision and Suburban Gothic, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
It's very, like, the acting is stilted on purpose, and I can see that turning people off. It's slow to start, like, it's not a traditional horror film, but I kind of like what he does with it.
Yeah.
And the grandma.
And it's got Tina from
great.
Final Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Who
Cool.
had no problem showing her tits in this movie, yet they didn't, like, they cut away from her about to give the old reveal in Final Girls.
You know, that's the chick from H2. Harley, the girl from Rob Zombie's H2, that is so hot in that movie. You know what I'm talking about? The bad girl with the dark hair that hooks up with the Wolfman. That's her. Yeah.
It's funny because I just watched that too for Postmortem. We did it.
Right.
I told you I have a new appreciation of the Rob Zombie ones. Again, they're growing on me. I didn't rate them as high, but they put it this way: they've trumped Halloween 5 now. Because remember, I kind of had the Halloween order. Well,
great,
no, because...
another Trump reference.
Halloween 5. I could take something out of my body right now that's going to trump Halloween 5.
Yeah, you hate it, but it's actually there's got some good scenes in it, which I think are better than 6 and H2O and Resurrection. But anyway, this is becoming Friday the 13th now discussion.
I know it's the new thing. You're right.
Go back to it. No, it's
Halloween. Take a drink.
But I thought you watched more than that. Did you not?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I watched a shitload. Okay, I'll tell you what. Like I said, when we left off here's what I've watched since. Okay, Kill Your Friends, The Horde, Masks, Within, The Resort with a Z, Black Mountainside, Corpse of Anna Fritz, Trash Fire, Siren, Goddess of Love. That took me to 100. So based on what I've said right there, who has anything? First of all, The Horde. That came recommended from you, didn't it, Brandon?
Yes.
I didn't like it.
I gave it a 7.5.
The Horde?
Or because there was one that came out a couple of years ago, I think, that I might be mistaken it with.
Yeah, there was another Horde film.
It's a generic title, so I'm
like the zombie one where they were stuck in
this is not that one.
This had good gore when the kill started, but that was really it. Then at the end it turned into fucking Rambo 3, and it was a one-man guy fucking killing a bunch of people with fucking bows and arrows, and it had good gore, but they just made this guy out to be fucking Rambo just because he was a Navy SEAL. Wasn't he a Navy SEAL? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Maybe not a Navy, something. And nothing against. Yeah, I understand that these are talented fucking people.
I liked it.
But the girl like laughed at this girl was on death's door, and she had these hillbilly. That's what the horror is. They're like fucking wrong-turn people, mutants, and fucking incest, fucking shit. Anyway, these people have her trapped, and she's on death's door. They're about to kill her, and they let her know that, oh, by the way, your boyfriend isn't dead, and she starts laughing at them. Like, what's so funny? Like, oh, you have no idea what you're in store for or something. So she thinks that her man is powerful enough to take down fucking 30 people. And sure enough, of course, he does it. He's
badass. He's trained to do that.
Come on, these are fucking killers. They live for killing every day of their life. I don't know. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It just seemed too far-fetched to me. I did like the gore. There was some of the best gore I've seen this year. There was some good gory kills, but... and then there was a twist at the end, which wasn't a twist whatsoever. That the first minute you see this guy on screen, and there's some kind of, you know that at the end, that's going to be the guy it's going to be a big revelation later on that he knows what's going on, or he's hooked up. And of course, it was. It just...
Oh, what? Back at the bar?
Yeah. How did you not know? Right away I knew, But
yeah, of course.
I had to bring that up because you recommended it, and that's one of the very few recommends that you've given me. What? Kill Your Friends made up for it. That was a Brandon recommend.
Yes, it was.
And I'll tell you right now, without spoiling it, that got my highest rating of those movies and the next 8 I'm going to mention. So
yeah, it's an amazing film.
So did you guys, Corpse of Anna Fritz? I heard you mention it on 22 Shots. You were disappointed as I was.
Very disappointed.
Yeah, dude. What the hell is the stink about that movie? I
don't know. Was not into it.
It was like Dead Girl, but not even as good. Even though Dead Girl I'm not even a fan of. It was just like...
Dead Girl was better.
Nothing really happened in this movie. I mean, something happened, but it just was one note.
It makes no sense.
No.
The whole idea makes no sense.
Well, but you can look past it, I guess, like Dead Girl. I mean, it is what it is.
If it was like Dead Girl, but it was nothing like Dead Girl.
Yeah. I just didn't get it. Whatever. Masks, did we all see that or no? Oh, you didn't see Masks, did you?
No, Masks is one of the ones I saw.
Good stuff, right?
I liked it. It could have been a little shorter. It moved a little bit slow. Yeah. But once it got going, I loved it, and I loved the ending. The ending? I remember being not confused, but... It is a bit confusing. People are going to misinterpret the ending, but I quite enjoyed it.
I still give it... What would you rate it?
8.
Yeah, I gave it 8.5, so I was even higher, because I was so impressed with the kills... And everything, the way it was set up, it kind of reminded me of Neon Demon / Starry Eyes.
Let me ask you this, and this won't spoil it, but did you take the ending to be a positive or a negative ending?
I took the ending to be, I don't know how I took it. I just wasn't crazy about it. It was just the two girls. One saw something as one thing, the other saw something as another. The two people that have influenced their lives negatively in what happened, and then one carries on into something else. And then it's just kind of there, and I didn't know what to think about it.
Okay, because it is pretty definitive one way, at least the way I saw it. So I could tell you about it.
I don't know. I guess we'll do it another time. Not here, right? It's a spoiler, right?
Yeah, it'd be a spoiler if I told you.
All right. Trash Fire, we also... Within, I forgot what Within was, but I gave it a 7 out of 10. What the hell was Within? And I'll look it up in a second. The Resort. Has anyone seen or heard about this one?
No.
I've heard about it. I did not have any desire to see it.
It's Resort with a Z, meaning zombie, which is why I put it off, because I'm...
Isn't that where you get to go to a resort to hunt a zombie?
Yeah. Yes. But it was cool. I actually ended up caring about the characters, and the kills were good, and it was zombies. If a zombie movie now can come on, and I can be cool with it, that's something good, because it's already taking...
Come on what?
Come on, Black Phillip. How can I explain it? If a zombie movie is on, and there's already a strike against it for me right now. I'm just not into them right now. I'm turned off to them. So if I can watch a zombie movie and at the end of it come out saying, you know what, pretty good, then other people might like it even more. But yeah, you're right. It's a situation where people are going as sport to kill zombies. You know, they make a game out of it and something else, and you have to pay, and it's an expensive thing. I think they fly him in, and they have to go to, they turn it into a sport / game type thing. And then, of course, something goes wrong. The security breaks down for some reason. Hell breaks loose. Zombie attack. But it was still good. So I was still with a 7.5 out of it. So I would check it out.
Cool.
Yeah. And Within was that one about the interesting movie. 7 out of 10. I don't want to say anything. A family moves into a house. It's looking like something's going on. There's a history in the house. It's set up like a ghost story, but maybe there's another thing going on from the outside. I don't want to say too much. The twist, if you will, might piss some people off. It actually worked for me. And after somebody here sees it, and we talk about it next week or whenever, I don't want to say anything, but if you get a chance to check out Within, check it out, because the twist is, like I said, it's kind of interesting. Black Mountainside. You saw that, right, Brandon? Did you watch it?
Yeah, that's one of the ones I watched. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I wasn't crazy about it.
Oh, shit. I thought for sure you would like it. Wow.
I understand why you thought I'd like it.
Everything until the end you didn't like? All the way everything played out with the guy? It's almost a little bit like The Thing, where you have like 8 people in this place and freaking they can't get out and crazy shit starts happening and people start dying one by one, and I won't say too much.
It doesn't really make much sense to me. I do like the big giant deer though.
Yeah, that thing was great. I thought the movie was creepy. I really thought the movie
was creepy. Definitely creepy. Yeah,
it worked for me. I give it an 8.5. Another one with a freaking high grade.
Jeez, so, you're gonna have a top 50 this year.
I know, right? It's a good year, man. It's a good. Did anybody watch Siren? We got that screener sent to us from Jason.
No, I didn't watch it.
No,
I haven't had a chance yet.
Shit. Well, Siren is the one that's based off the chapter from the VHS movie.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it. Nothing out of this world, but a good story. It's obviously it's about this Siren girl. We learn more about her backstory and everything else. I like the way it ended. That brought it up a little bit. Probably brought it up about a half a point. I give it a 7.5. But it was a good flick. And Goddess of Love. Anybody see that one?
No.
What is Goddess of Love?
They should have called it Crazy Bitch. That's what it should have been called. It's check it out. Goddess of Love is about this girl. She is a dancer, stripper, and she falls for this new guy like right away, and she gets obsessed with him. One thing leads to another. He's come out of a bad relationship. She ends up going absolutely crazy, and I'm not spoiling anything because it's about her. 20 minutes in the movie, it's her. So it's not, she starts killing a bunch of people, shit goes down, and it's not a cat and mouse, but, of course she doesn't want to get caught, and she has to hide a body and some other shit, but I guess you can say it's kind of a character piece. But, yeah, Crazy Bitch would have been a good title for it. So, but again, 7 out of 10. So, I mean, I can dig that. What else we got? You Are Not Alone. Brandon, anything?
You Are Not Alone. Did I watch that?
You Are Not Alone. Well, I'll tell you what. This is interesting because it's a movie set up entirely in you're watching the movie first person. So you never actually see the main character. You hear her voice, and you are basically her. You're seeing the whole movie through her eyes.
I don't think I've seen this.
Okay, it took about an hour to get into something, but when it gets into something, she's being pursued by this guy, and it's her being chased through the house, so you get like a half-hour final chase scene, but it's played out really well. I really enjoyed it. Not out of this world. What did I say, 7 out of 10? 7 out of 10, but good. I like the gimmick of the first person, but I recommend that one. That was good. The Gateway, 6 out of 10. I don't remember enough about it to tell you. Oh, yeah, I do it. That's the freaking... Oh, yeah, no, that's Observance. I'll get to that later. The Triangle. The Triangle was a found footage mockumentary. No, more of a found footage about a cult, about these guys. It's almost set up like the beginning of, what's that shit called? Sacrament, okay? And these guys get called from their, yeah. This is what Excrement should have been. But these guys get called to their friend sends them a thing, says, hey, come out and see me, and this and that. They used to be a real tight-knit group. So they go out there, and they realize that it's kind of a cult thing, but they get there, and they're kind of at ease, and they have to get familiar with these people. And it's really cool because, the tension builds slowly throughout the film and then comes to a crescendo at the end. And something that I've never seen before in a horror movie, like an interesting kind of concept. And I really got into it. It got really hectic for like the last 15 minutes, and shit goes down, and it's cool. Ultimately, the last few shots, I don't think make a whole lot of sense because I don't think cameras should have been there, and it's not explained enough what really is happening. So I'll leave it at that. And a couple more, but The Triangle, I say check it out if you like found footage. Observance, artsy, weird, confusing, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I watched that when I was sick.
Dude,
I gave it a 6.5, but that's a movie I probably won't rewatch it, but at some point I will.
I didn't get what happened in the last act. I was on board, and then the last act got real artsy and real confusing. Is that the way you felt?
Yeah, I was very confused, but I was also very sick.
Okay. So were you doped up?
Yeah.
Well, that should have helped. But okay. Just because it's artsy doesn't mean it's good. People are going to listen to my, we talk about a lot of artsy films this year. A lot of them we really liked. But that doesn't, you need more than that. Then Phobia. You guys see Phobia or no?
Nope.
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
Got 2 weeks.
Phobia is from India. I want to say it's India. But check it out.
You don't know?
No, I want to make sure it's definitely India, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. But this girl, she gets attacked and she becomes, what's that called? Agoraphobia? What's that thing when you don't want to...
Agoraphobia?
Agoraphobia, right. She ends up having to stay inside the house.
Agoraphobia is when you're scared of eggs.
Agoraphobia?
Yeah.
And she's traumatized and she's trapped in her house and she's seeing things going on. The girl that used to live there she thinks is dead and maybe there's ghosts and this and that. But it's really well done and it's an 8 out of 10. I really dig it. And at the end.
Did you say it takes place in a 7-Eleven?
No.
It is from India.
Is it from India?
So it takes place in a 7-Eleven or it does?
Shut the...
No, you bastard. No. And finally,
is there a cow
Francesca.
God?
Did you see Francesca? Oh, yeah, you did. I saw it because of you.
Yeah.
Oh, what it took to see that movie. I ended up watching the last act on my fucking phone. It took me it wouldn't work on the PlayStation. It wouldn't stream on my thing. For half an hour it was fine on my computer. Then it started skipping and lagging. Finally I said, fuck it, I'm going to go to my phone on the Amazon app and do it there. So that's how I watched that. It took forever to watch it, but good stuff. Well, I mean, I'm not crazy about the end because it didn't make sense to me. And people are going to say, oh, that's Jalo. That's how it's supposed to be. I disagree. It was like somebody got introduced. It was a bad switch, and then they showed something.
No, it made perfect sense. You must not have been paying attention at the beginning, but the effects at the beginning were so bad that I could understand why it would confuse someone.
Okay.
Because there's a use of a doll that's not supposed to be a doll.
Yeah, but a character. Oh, how about that song? Mommy, that freaking thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Mama.
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
It's an Italian. It's an Italian. So it's a Giallo.
What movie?
Francesca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my little girl.
Christ.
I had to watch it, But yeah, it's set up like an old Giallo, so it works well. It's very authentic, almost like the editor was last year, where it looks very authentic, like a Giallo from the 70s in that time period. But the ending, I didn't get it because a character comes out of nowhere and I have no idea where he came from. I never saw him before. And then all of a sudden, I don't want to spoil it, but we'll have to talk.
You did see that character. I'll explain it to you.
Okay, we'll have to talk off the air about it. But that, 7 out of 10. What about you? What do you got, Brandon?
You just stole all my watches pretty much, except for one.
Why didn't you jump in?
Jump in where?
When I was talking, why didn't you jump in instead of wait?
Into the conversation, Brandon.
Into the conversation.
I was in the conversation, wasn't I?
Well, then how did I steal them?
You talked about them first.
Okay, let's see what you got to say. You got to have something.
Did I mention In the Deep last week? Or 2 weeks ago?
I mentioned it, and I told you to watch it. You said you had to watch it because of my recommendation.
That's the one that was coming to theaters, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to come to theaters next year. It's crazy. Yeah.
And I did watch it, and I freaking loved it.
Yes. All right. Cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Wasn't it?
It got predictable. I knew what the twist was going to be. I saw it a million miles away.
Oh, just that one thing they did at the end?
Yeah.
It made sense in this case, though.
Yeah, it did make sense, but it was awesome. Did I mention? I don't know if I mentioned I Am Not a Serial Killer with Christopher Lloyd.
I think you mentioned it last show.
Yeah, I think I did. But I'll mention it again. It was fantastic. The only other film I saw that we haven't talked about tonight is Train to Busan.
I liked that. What'd you think?
Yeah, liked it very much.
Yeah.
Well, getting a lot of praise.
Yeah, definitely in contention for a top 10 spot, but it's not going to be easy to make my top 10. I am doing a top 30 this year.
Nice. Yeah, do it. There's great movies this year.
I figured I saw 120 exactly, and I do plan on seeing Beyond the Gates. And what was that other one you had mentioned?
Beyond the Gates and Siren?
No, the found footage one.
You're talking about the Triangle.
The Triangle, yeah. So I might try to check that out. So I'll be a little higher, but a top 30 of 120 movies would be the top 25%. So I figure it's fair to at least showcase some of the others. And I'll post the others on the website and then do the top 10 on the show.
I'll probably do a top 25 after the show drops, you know?
Yeah.
It's a great year, man. It really is. There's so much going on. And there's one more thing I'm going to say. I didn't mention it. It is a movie that I'm not going to mention until next week because it's going to make a certain list. So I'm going to save it all for next week. Not even going to mention this freaking movie.
I got to tell you something. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it's out. I thought I remember hearing December 2nd. I don't even know if that's wide release. I saw a trailer for it, and I really want to see this movie. It seems like something I'd really enjoy. It's called The Eyes of My Mother.
Oh, I keep seeing that advertised.
Yeah, it looks haunting. It looks haunting. It looks absolutely amazing. I really hope it will be out before. I just didn't know if that release meant theatrical or if it meant like VOD ready.
Usually it means VOD and limited theatrical for a movie like that. Because I know Beyond the Gates comes out December 9th, limited theatrical and VOD. So even though we record on the 11th, we'll have a chance to watch that as our last film and maybe slip it in if it's amazing.
The old Slipperino.
Slipperino.
Well, The Eyes of My Mother, I really, really want to see that film. It looks, even the preview. I've never been creeped out by a preview before.
Dave doesn't watch previews.
I know, but that one I did. Very artsy preview, Dave, so I might not give anything away. I did forget the other film. I finally did watch Summer Camp. The biggest problem with that movie is the title.
Shaky Cam.
No, you're right. It's shaky, and I usually don't like that, but I'm with Brandon on that one. I was okay with it because they kind of had to throw out. The biggest problem with the title, I expected, you told me it wasn't a slasher film.
Right.
They should have called it Summer Camp. It's a total cash grab title. It really, they're running a camp there. It really has nothing to do with.
But it's such a cool premise. I've seen it in another movie called Husk. I believe the film Husk had the similar premise to it.
Yeah, no, I love the movie. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie. Yeah.
And the ending was really cool. The ending was cool.
Yeah. No, it was good. And I forgot. I was like, I know there's one more. So I was going through my list while you guys were doing your movies, and that was the fifth one.
Nice. Well, I like the fact that the virus wears off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then comes that was interesting. I was really into what was going on, but I'm telling you, the camera was shaking so bad that I wanted to stop watching it, and that doesn't happen to me. I'm a found footage guy. That's what's so perplexing that no one else had this problem. It was just I've heard a lot of people complain about 31, the action scenes and stuff, and how the shaky cam, and I noticed it there too, but I was whatever. But this was like that for 50% of the film, so I just really couldn't. I was like, what the hell's going on here? So, whatever. The Eyes of My Mother says coming soon in theaters Friday. But that could be limited. Who knows? It could be theaters and VOD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we don't know. But hopefully we can watch that one. Definitely. And I just remember that one movie, Gateway, that I gave a 6 out of 10. Interesting. This girl gets an apartment, and she puts up a shower curtain. And when she puts up the shower curtain, it vanishes. It disappears. And then she does it again, and it disappears. And it turns out this thing is getting sucked out of it into her freaking, there's like a hole in her freaking bathroom in the shower, and it's being sucked through and going through some other world and coming out somewhere else. And there's a mystery, and she has this guy she works with, and they try to get on and see what's going on, and kind of interesting, and it has a cool twist at the end. Ultimately, like I said, it's only a 6 out of 10, but it's an interesting film. It's actually a film I think I want to watch again because it's a premise that I've never seen before. So that was the gateway. It just popped into my head what it was. So I watch so many damn
films to watch.
Yeah, I see so many damn movies that even now I'm looking at things. I look at my ratings, and someone will post something somewhere, and I'll say, "Yeah, this is what I thought. This is my rating." And then I'd be like, What the hell was that? Intruder, 5 out of 10. I don't remember what happened in that movie. Then I'll say, I give this movie a 7 out of 10 and I liked it because of the rating, but I can't remember what the movie was. But whatever, my mind is fucked. What can I say? So yeah, next show, we're going to talk every damn thing. It's going to be freaking, a big show, and we won't leave anything out. So there you have it. We do have some, I never even mentioned the movies we were going to talk about at the beginning of the show. It's Christmas, and I forgot to say. To All A Goodnight from 1980. Rear Exports from, what year? Whatever.
2010.
2010.
I love how that's the official name now.
Rear Exports, yeah, it is official. And Treevenge from whatever.
2008.
2008, look at them. Those are the movies we're covering. Do we want to get into this Neon Demon article, or skip it?
Oh, is this the article?
7 Reasons It Sucks,
7
or whatever
reasons,
the fuck?
Yeah.
I looked at number 7 and I stopped. We don't have to do it.
No, you
I just
said
thought
you were
I'd
going to
ask
mention
her.
it. You said you were going to talk about it on the show. So let's talk about it, even if it has to be brief.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can rattle through these points.
All right. So now that we've all seen Neon Demon, and I gather we all liked it. I didn't get a rating from Christian because next week he said they were all 8 and higher. And next
and you
week's
didn't
the
get a
big
rating
show.
from me. Because
I didn't get a rating from you? No?
I didn't. I still haven't rated the film.
Well, I spilled the beans right when I saw it right away, but I don't know if anyone remembers. It was like 5-6 shows ago or something. So that's fine. I gather we all liked it because of what you've said and because Christian, I know that kind of where his grade's going to be at least an 8. So we noticed that there was an article. It was put up in the 22 Shots page, and someone didn't like the movie Neon Demon. And somebody decided to write an article. And basically, it's an article where I read one thing and stopped because right off the bat I was turned off. But it said 7 reasons, and this is a movie we wanted to review, by the way, and we put it to vote, and it ended up being Don't Breathe. We all wanted to talk Neon Demon, and we didn't. You guys voted Don't Breathe. I loved it, and these guys did not.
Whoa, Don't Breathe.
Well, rewatch Season is coming. No. Rewatch Season is coming. But anyway, now we're going to find a way to talk about Neon Demon. So this article came up. Taste of Cinema wrote 7 reasons why the Neon Demon is a huge disappointment. So that's what the article said. So of course I go to look at it. And right off the bat, I look at number 7. And that's as far as I got. I shut the article down. I said I'm not going to look at the rest of the article, and we will discuss it on the show. Number 7 says it lacks a coherent narrative. That's all I had to see. I said, you know what? That's bullshit. First of all, it's the type of film that you interpret your own way. A lot of people say it's easy to follow. So, but how many movies lack a coherent narrative that are popular? Isn't there? People say Suspiria doesn't have a coherent narrative. I think it does, but some people say it.
Bad
How many
Boys.
people?
Any
What's
Michael
that?
Bay film. You could say that about Transformers
Dark Knight
1
Rises.
through 4. Yeah, I mean, those are dumb action movies, but they're told in such a haphazard sort of hand-fisted way. You're just like that's not coherent, in my opinion. Not coherent storytelling, anyway.
There's a ton of movies. What about 2001: A Space Odyssey? Is that a coherent narrative, or is it not?
I admittedly have not. I started reading it, and I knew I was going to be pissed off just from the get-go. So I didn't even get as far as you. I just said, you know what? No. I just found already, it was almost like he was going to use the argument that it was all art or style over substance, which it's not.
No, it's not. I agree. And I'm sick of hearing that about movies that I like. If you don't like it, fine, whatever. To come up with an article and it's a huge disappointment. Well, maybe you didn't like it. Doesn't make it a huge disappointment. A lot of people like it, and it's art house shit. That is, these kind of movies are freaking. They're very subjective. Everybody knows this about these kind of movies. So you didn't even get to 7. You didn't even look at it.
No, well, I saw the article. I think I saw the article because it came up on my feed. Then I saw you comment on how much you hated it. So that I looked into it, and as soon as I read, I think I clicked on the article and read his first read the first paragraph. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even bothering. I know this is going to piss me off, and I was more interested in hearing your thoughts on it while we talk tonight. So again, I'm kind of talking out of line where I figured he was going with his viewpoint on the article because I didn't truthfully read it.
Yeah, I kind of breezed through all 7 little checkpoints, but as far as the narrative, I thought it was pretty straightforward. How you apply it to the bigger picture is open for interpretation, but I don't know. I think maybe he would have liked more dialogue heavy, more dialogue in the film to drive the narrative.
And you know what? I never wanted more. I never watched a movie and said, "Oh, there's not enough dialogue." It just never occurred to me.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed the movie. That's all there is to it. I just sat and watched it. I never. No, here's number 6. It is too long. I never once was that when I watched this movie said they're dragging this out too long. This is no good. It never happened.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not this movie at all.
No.
You can't argue it's too long unless you point out scenes that are completely useless to the film, and I think everything in the film is purposely done and well thought out.
And I don't think he even gave an idea. I don't think he even gave an example of what.
But I mean, I can understand a longer film where it's not, a narrative driven by heavy dialogue, but more by visuals and symbolism and stuff, and the fact that it is a 2-hour film can take people out of it. So yeah. I'm not against people who don't like it. I don't see those as valid reasons why I should dislike it, because those aren't necessarily true.
Here's what he says. He thinks the movie should have ended after the pool scene. That should have been the end.
Oh yeah, I did read that.
No, not at all.
No,
I mean,
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, that was important. Everything that happened. That was the whole crux of the film.
I get why he's saying that. The pool scene is a beautiful scene, and it could have been a beautiful shot. But I love the third act. I don't think it goes overboard, even though it's described as batshit crazy. To me, it's like it almost needed to happen.
I'm glad it did.
To make the point, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The first time I saw it, I was like, wow. I was wowed at what happened. And then I was confused with the third act. And then that was the first time. I've watched it 3 times. So, whatever. Okay. Number 5, cast is misused. This guy says this is very much a film to be taken by scene. Well, whatever. But the core characters are Jesse, Ruby, Gigi, Ellie Fanning, or whatever. But I don't know.
And Sarah.
Is he referring to Keanu Reeves? And who cares? Because he's a secondary character.
The male.
He was great.
Yeah, and the male characters were specifically used as the inferior roles in here, almost like how women are sometimes in film. The women were the strong lead characters in this film.
Mm-hmm. I thought Keanu Reeves was perfect in this film.
Maybe if he's talking a little bit about Jenna Malone's character, maybe I would have liked a little bit more from her, because she was quite an intriguing character, but I can't even argue that. I was more than satisfied with what I got. Yep,
he does mention Jenna Malone, he does mention Keanu, but he says both of these actors' performances are highlights in the film, yet Reeves only has a couple of scenes, and Hendricks only has one. Oh, I'm reading about the wrong person. I'm talking about
Christina Hendricks. Yeah.
Refn would have done well to have expanded the importance of these characters, as these 2 capable performers should have injected some life into what turned out to be a rather lifeless, stagnant film. Wrong.
That's ridiculous. You can't even lifeless film.
Right?
It doesn't even.
I think the only reason why somebody would want those characters to be a bigger part is if you're looking at this story very straightforward. I think it's so much deeper than what it is. I think the backdrop for the film isn't even important for the message. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't even think it matters that this film takes place in the fashion industry. I don't even think that's necessarily important to what's being said here.
True. It can be used in many different ways.
I think it's just a great backdrop in which to tell the story, but I don't think it's a literal take on the horrors of the beauty industry.
Right.
No, not on that, but I do think you're right. Okay, the backdrop, I think it does play a big role in it. Yeah, I don't think it's a comment on that directly. Yeah. But I think it is important.
Yeah, because if they used Christina Hendricks' character more, it would have been her, manipulating the clients more, and it would have just really gone into just what it's like to work in the fashion industry and the beauty industry and all that, and it would have, I think, lost its overall message and overall theme.
This isn't that kind of movie. It isn't a fucking. This is not a dramatic movie about things like that.
Yeah.
It
This
makes
isn't
it.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
The Neon Demon Wears Prada.
Number 4. Refn fails to capitalize on the visual stimulation the film seems to promise. I don't even know where to begin. I'm not sure what that means. What do you think?
I don't even know either, because what does it promise? And I thought it was very visually stimulating, and I thought it was great to look at. I loved the soundtrack to this movie.
Oh my god!
Great year for
probably one of the
soundtracks.
best soundtracks I've heard in a very long time.
It's a great
amazing,
soundtrack.
amazing.
Yeah. Yes,
Absolutely amazing.
it's a year of great soundtracks, though. I'll tell you that. But this is
It is, but this one floored me. This one just, I don't. What did it say again? What did he say about the visuals?
fails to capitalize on the visual stimulation the film seems to promise. I don't know. It's too freaking heavy-handed. I don't know.
It doesn't even make sense to me.
It doesn't fail to promise anything because it delivers on it. It's
Yeah,
someone that
exactly.
Someone that ultimately hated the film and felt enough detest to decide to write an article as to why he hated it. But you know how we were talking about everybody's entitled to their opinion, so it can't be wrong?
Yeah.
This is wrong. I honestly think I actually think this is actually wrong.
I think what the visuals do. I'm thinking of a specific scene where the visuals are almost play in a huge part in the turning point of the story, and ultimately has an effect on how the film plays out, with the use of color and everything, and the use of visual and other visuals. It's just, I agree with Christian. It's wrong.
This guy has an agenda, and I don't know why, but why this film? Why doesn't somebody write an article about why Death Escort Service sucks? Give 7 reasons for that. A movie that legitimately sucks. Why take a good movie that people like and say, I just want to shit on all the people that enjoy this film? Because that's really what he's doing. Because he knows there's people out there that enjoy the film.
Maybe he was supposed to be the director of photography, and didn't get the gig.
I think when you get to these artsier films, if you enjoy it, all of a sudden people think you're pretentious. I don't like all artsy films. I like artsy films where I can comprehend what's going on and I take something away and it leaves a mark. And this was one of those films.
See, it's funny. I have it depends on the film itself.
Yeah.
Of course.
Possession, obviously, you know my take on that. I loved February earlier this year. I loved Neon Demon. I mean, I don't think I say anything. I rated it very high. I love Neon Demon. And
maybe I am a pretentious asshole.
No, but you're
since I loved all of those.
So did I. So what? We all liked them, but
it just depends on your take. But I'm just saying, I don't always tend to like those as well. But I actually tend to like movies that I don't always get on first, second, third, whatever it may be, views, and that you kind of take away something later on.
Yeah.
Like February, for instance, I had a whole different interpretation of the ending, which, based on other people's review of the movies, based on what you guys said.
Hell, we had different interpretations of endings, yet we both came in super high on it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And when I listen to other people's review, I'm like, no, I got that wrong, but I got that wrong because, the whole crux or whatever of the story should be that. However, that's what I love about it. I'm like, but I took away this, and I watched it twice, and now, I can't wait to watch it again and see what else I can pull from it. That's a sign of a great movie.
Yeah, unlike a film like Anti-Birth, which tried to be overly artistic and
there you go,
failed miserably because, 20 minutes in, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Right, and it's okay. What's that movie I didn't like? The French Extreme one that I gave a 5.
Oh, Trouble Every Day.
Trouble Every Day. That was artsy shit. I didn't like it just because it was artsy. What I just say about Observance, that movie that I saw a few weeks ago. It got artsy and crazy at the end, but it didn't make any sense. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I want to see a good movie with excellent visuals and sound and everything. Yeah, if it's artsy, but it's got to be good. It is. We're not sitting here saying we like every artsy film. Obviously, it's just whatever. Okay, number 3.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was
Go
going
ahead,
to say,
I'm
I like
sure
Cronenberg movies. Videodrome's one of my favorites. I didn't get Videodrome through and through the first time I see it. I still don't know if I get it 100%. That's why I love that movie.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't like all of Cronenberg's movies. I don't love them all.
Right.
But certain ones just resonate well with me, and I keep returning back to them in hopes of pulling something more out of them each time. And again, to me, perfect example of a great movie. Doesn't always have to be that way. There are simplistic movies that work on that level as well. That not on that level, but that in the sense of pulling something away, but that are just there for pure enjoyment and for visitation rights. You just want to re-experience them over and over again, and that's good too. But yeah, I don't want to drag this out too much longer. So go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Here's number 3, and this is ridiculous. This film could have been bettered. Pardon me. The film could have bettered itself as satire.
Oh, God, no.
We've seen satire of this before. It's been done. And it's great when it's satire, but this movie, we don't want it to be satire. We enjoy it because the kind of film it is. We've seen satire several times. We've seen very few movies with horror elements like this before that tackle this subject matter. So, if you want to see satire of shit like that, watch fucking Scream Queens. And I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is satire in a nouveau sort of way.
But you can still point to it being somewhat satirical if you want.
In a dark sort of way. So in that regard, again, he might actually get it wrong because it might do exactly what it's saying it's not doing or what he wants it to do. It's just maybe not in the traditional way. Again, he took the time to write the article, and I'm not agreeing with most of what he's saying about it at all.
No,
which is fine.
Right. That's why we're doing it.
Not everybody loves this movie. But
that's fine. Whatever.
And that's okay, too.
Don't tear it apart because you didn't get it or don't like it or you think it could have been better suited some other way. It's whatever. Number 2, its attempt at moralizing falls flat. I don't really see any moralizing in this film, to be honest. I don't know. What's moralizing about this film? Anything? I don't recall anything.
There is no moral to this story.
No, there's not.
No.
Who's supposed to be the good person? Who is supposed to be... It's a tragedy as far as I'm concerned. That's what it is. It's a tragedy. That's what the story is.
It's a commentary.
Right. There you go.
On so many different levels.
Yep.
Well,
I don't know what
we can get into. We will probably be talking about this next week or next show as well.
We definitely will be.
I'm looking forward. I've only watched it once, so I am looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, me too. I can't. This is my most anticipated rewatch.
Nice.
Since I've only seen it.
I'm already on 3, and I already have my rewatch for the year, so that's it. I won't be rewatching again. I'm happy. I'm done.
Nice.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Number 1, and this is ridiculous. The film is ultimately what it criticizes. And I'll read the first paragraph. The Neon Demon is a failed statement against the overvaluation of superficial beauty in contemporary society. It is a failure because the film itself embodies this ideal, thereby structurally reinforcing an anti-satirical message.
See, and that's where he's wrong because he sees this as a film commentating on the beauty industry, and it's not. And there's no commentary on that. The commentary is whatever you take away from it, the message, whatever you draw from it. Refn is just using it as a backdrop to tell this horrific, vile, scary, and visceral tale. And it's presented in such a beautiful way, but it's beautiful and horrific at the same time. So it's almost contradictory.
I think that's done intentionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the statement. It's supposed to look good. What if it would have... This is what he says. Essentially, the Neon Demon morphs itself into a more pretentious version of Mean Girls. If you strip away reference attempts at artistry, you end up with a story about a group of guys and girls live in a society where beauty is admired and all else abandoned. This would be one thing if not Refn's ridiculously absurd attempts to elevate the film to some kind of expressionistic art. I think it makes perfect sense. Why should it not look good? This guy, I guess he's known for making films like this that are artsy. So what's he going to do? Make a film about that and then say, well, let's just make it look like it's, I don't know, Friday the 13th. whatever. This is a regular film. This guy doesn't get it.
Yeah, or we just wholeheartedly do not agree
Yeah.
with his viewpoint on it. But yeah, I don't get that. I don't even get that statement really. Either.
Yeah, I'm confused. I mean, I've said what I've said, and some of the things I've said, I think could be a little confusing because I don't know if I'm wording them correctly. But in my head, I know how I feel about this movie, and I know what I took from the movie and how I saw the movie, and I think everything that was done correctly for me.
I'm with you. Why? I just don't get why do it for this movie. Why not do it for a real bad movie? That's what I say.
This is the type of movie that people will tend to do. You know, The Witch, it follows these sort of...
Good movies, all of them.
all good movies, yeah, but all movies that are very thought-provoking and can draw multiple interpretations, or if people aren't into them, they could just see it as pretentious bullshit, you know.
But don't insult it. Don't insult it. I'm not saying don't get it because that sounds pretentious. Oh, you just don't get it. I don't mean to say it that way. That sounds pretentious. But come on, I'm not a pretentious person. Just because I happen to like films that look and sound good and have a story, so what? I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a freaking regular person that loves freaking stupid slasher movies from the 80s. And I also happen to love horror, art house horror. So what? I appreciate a good film no matter what it is. It does. Look at my top 10. I have freaking slashers on there. All right. So what? I'm not pretentious. I'm not freaking somebody that's, oh, you just don't get it. That just pisses me. It pisses me off to no extent because I always see people insulting The Witch and this and everything else that I like and saying it's stupid and it's this and it's pretentious and everything else. It makes me feel like if I come on there and say I like it, that I'm some type of asshole snob. And of course, that's the last thing I am. I'm just a freaking dude. You know, I don't know. It just, if you don't get it or don't like it or whatever, so be it. To tear apart a good film, someone that took the time to do things with the set design. I mean,
the way he saw it, he wanted to see a completely different movie, and that's understandable. He didn't like this. He had in his mind what he visualized as a better version of this film, but to me, I thought it was perfect or near perfect.
It's more open to criticism, I guess, because it's such a fine film, because of the technical aspects.
Yeah.
If people look at it and say, oh, it looks good, but the story should be better. And I guess maybe I could understand that, but because you didn't like the story, but you look around and you obviously see a lot of other people dig it. You take the chance because you have a website or because people are going to see your written word wherever it's going to be. You take the opportunity to lambaste it and freaking say, okay, this is what you guys should be seeing. This is what's wrong about this film. Well, this is a film where you're going to sit and you're going to watch it. Not every single time, but I venture to say probably 9 out of 10 times, when a person watches this for the first time, they're going to know if they like it or if they don't.
Yeah.
Probably within the first 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to reference the article so if people do want to read it, they can go read it?
Yeah, I said at the beginning who wrote it.
I couldn't remember, sorry.
No, that's quite all right. Taste of Cinema. Hold on. Tasteofcinema.com. I don't know if the guy has his name on here, but let's see. Tasteofcinema.com. Yeah, I can't really... on my phone looking at it, I can't get it. Maybe the guy's name is at the end, but it is Taste of Cinema.
Tasteofcinema.com. All right.
Yep, tasteofcinema.com, and then basically the title is, which is ridiculous, but 7 Reasons Why the Neon Demon is a Huge Disappointment. So there you go. Just Google that, check it out, read the whole thing, and, you know, because we obviously couldn't, but we spent a lot of time on it, and yeah, that's our review. Ratings? Funny thing is we barely talked about any character at all, or any of the story really at all. We just talked about whatever, just everything but. So, okay. Let's get on with the reviews. Christmas time. Let's do it. So the first movie is To All A Goodnight.
All right, guys. To All A Goodnight, 1980, directed by David Hess, written by Alex Rebar, who played the incredible Melting Man. Shout out to Derek.
Big time Derek.
I'm not going to go off the B here, because the B says a group of teenagers at a party, which is actually a group of sorority sisters during Christmas vacation who stay at school find themselves being stalked by a maniacal killer in a Santa Claus costume. So I switched it up a little bit there.
Good job.
And, you know, okay, where do we even start with this? Wow.
Is it okay? Is this
What
your
a
first
turd.
time?
First
Turd,
time.
huh?
First time. What a turd.
But wait a second.
Christian?
A finishing school, too. That's not even university. So what's a sorority at a finishing school? Because
What the hell? Yeah.
A finishing school is for like that's what I was like. Well, that's not university. A finishing school is like to make them culturally like elite and like prim and proper and all this, isn't it? It's not university.
I have no idea. Calvin finishing school for girls? I don't know.
I didn't give it a second thought. I don't remember it saying.
Okay,
It looked
here it is. First time watch for me.
the quality of the picture.
The movie's all over the place. The movie's all over the place. It was. I will tell you one thing. Better than I was expecting it to be.
What?
And it
Much
has
better.
Because you know what? I've seen a
What's the
lot
matter
of
with you?
because I've seen a lot of crappy slasher movies. At least
Well, that's the thing.
this one has kills, nudity, and actual gore.
Yes, and good dialogue, and it's a fun. I was expecting shit because I've always avoided it. And it was a Christmas movie. I never heard anything about it, not good or bad. So I just think it was going to be run-of-the-mill shit. And then I watch this, and I'm entertained through the movie. And I love 80s slashers, but admittedly, half of them suck because I watch them and they take themselves too seriously, or they move too slow, and there's too much downtime, or there's a lot of police involvement.
I thought the gore in this film was minimal. I felt like it could have been so much more.
What the? You must not have watched the same movie we
What
did.
is that noise that keeps coming through? It sounds like it's a roar.
Oh, my alarm went off. Hold on. I got to set the alarm.
We're already done.
Great. Okay, hold on a second. Let me fix it. Sorry about that.
No, don't apologize, man. What are you, Canadian?
The opening is like prom night.
The opening
Classic.
that opening flashback is brutal because it's literally like 40 seconds long. You're like, what? What just happened? Huh? Who said what the who know? And it just happens and you're like, okay, great. Okay, quick setup. Then it goes into some boring dialogue for a bit, and that can throw you right off because it's bad acting, bad dialogue out of the get-go. But then the movie does something weird because I'm like, I'm not going to like this. This is going to be a chore. I'm going to strangle Brandon yet again for this movie pick. And something happened. I started getting into the movie and I was enjoying it.
Yeah, me too.
I can't believe it. First of all, the flashback scene of the girl being killed 2 years earlier. What kind of prank is that? Did you notice they were chasing her with actual knives and an axe?
And a Santa outfit. That was hysterical.
And one of the girls yells, "Let's chop her head off."
Right, it was a game. They were kids.
And then it's clearly a dummy that died there because you could see the dummy land.
Yeah.
So bad.
No,
whatever, dude.
It's a slasher, and it was made for $70,000 supposedly. That's what I saw on IMDb. 70 grand. I know we're talking 1980. That's still low budget. That's what
was Friday?
About. Friday was 500,000.
Okay.
And then they popped in another 500 or $1 million for publicity when they realized what they had. But this was. I mean, you can't even call it a Friday the 13th ripoff because they would have had to. It probably is, but they had to do it quick.
It's not.
Because it came out. Okay. Shoot your load.
It's a prom night ripoff.
You, of all people, I couldn't wait to talk about this. This is the movie that should have got the credit that Friday the 13th got. This is a groundbreaking slasher film, and it got swept under the rug somehow. This movie came out January 30th, okay? The first month, 1980. This movie...
I didn't even check out that. I thought it came out in the later part of the year.
You would think so. You would think that they watched Friday the 13th and they put in a Crazy Ralph character, same name, okay?
Ralph,
and
Crazy Ralph,
yeah, Wacky Ralph, I guess this one we call, whatever. Then the twist at the end, if you will, kind of similar. Matter of fact, many other slashers that followed Friday the 13th and this were all about something happening in the beginning and a mystery and the reveal at the end with killer, with kids and gore, which nobody did before this movie. Like Friday the 13th came along. Now Friday the 13th was in post when this movie dropped, so nobody stole from anybody. But if you watch this movie with no knowledge, you would have thought that this movie was made in like 1983 or 84, and it was one of the millions of decent slasher ripoffs of Friday the 13th. But
groundbreaking is a strong
Yes,
word.
I'll tell you why it's groundbreaking. Because Friday the 13th gets props. Well, because it is groundbreaking. This movie, okay.
Yeah, I hear where you're
1978.
going. I hear it.
You have Halloween. Okay, Halloween was not what Friday the 13th was. Friday the 13th, admittedly, ripped it off and put gore in the freaking flick. Now, in 1980, when this is being filmed, or 79, if you will, because it came out in January, this was a movie that decided to take the Halloween motif and do something similar and make it gory. And that's what they did, and that's what Friday the 13th gets credit for. And that's what everybody said. Then they ripped off Friday. This movie did what Friday the 13th did, not better because they did not have Savini. But you put Savini on there, and you happen to give them a Manfredini, you got a 10 out of 10 film.
Yeah, because the soundtrack.
This movie is a rip-off of Prom Night and Black Christmas.
Prom Night came out after, though.
Okay,
Prom Night
so
came out
this
after.
is clearly a rip-off of Black Christmas, then.
Okay. Why would it be a ripoff? The only thing familiar with Black Christmas in this is Christmas.
Sorority Girls, Christmas. Well, one thing that's spoiler, but I'll get.
I can give you set. It crossed my mind too, Dave. But who cares? It was a $70,000.
I don't care. It just was not nearly on par with Black Christmas.
Well, first of all, let me talk about Black Christmas. Fine. People are going to look back at Black Christmas and they say this Black Christmas is a 10 out of 10 because they did this and they took these girls in a sorority and had them killed these ways. And oh, wow, that ending. But, I mean, people say that and they say they don't want to look at the whole film as a whole and say, you know what, there's boring things going on, there's this, that. But they're just going to say Black Christmas, 10 out of 10, amazing film. I'm not going to be blinded by this film, which I just call groundbreaking, and give it a rating of 10 just because they did things first. People think Black Christmas did some things first, and solely because of that, 10 out of 10 film. They were the first one that did this. No, it doesn't make a film a 10 out of 10. It just does not.
I wasn't, besides maybe the axe kill, there really wasn't anything that I felt was overwhelmingly gory. There were a few slit throats, which
the axe in the head.
And it looked great. Yeah.
A severed head, which didn't really have much blood.
What about the spear kill? What about that spear kill? It was the reverse of freaking the kill that we praised in Sleepaway Camp, where it went in the front of his throat. This one came in the back, and it looked great.
Yeah, it did look good. No, they had a couple of tricks up their sleeve and a body count bigger than I was expecting. So you had that axe in the head, the decapitation, which is off camera and a little clumsy, but it's still done. The crossbow in the head, which is a goddamn ridiculous scene. We'll get to that too, but fun nonetheless. The shower nozzle head, and a couple of batshit crazy moments. We'll get there. I will tell you this: the music sucked. The music was repetitive, probably from a sound library, and it just put on repeat. I will give you that. There are no pop-outs, there's no stingers. So when the killer comes in, he literally, sometimes you're just watching two people, and he literally just comes in the scene and swings. It was badly directed by an actor that was in Last House on the Left, David Hess, and I guess his claim to fame of, hey, I was in that movie, give me some money and I'll make a movie myself. Okay. Done. But who cares? I'm just saying, so I'm not going to lie. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? There's a lot of what the fuck moments. But sometimes what the fuck moments are what make a slasher film fun, too.
Right. And good dialogue. And slashers that we watch them all the time. We talk about 80 slashers. We've seen a ton. This one had the pace. It had a perfect pace. There was only a 15-minute lull in the second act where it slowed down. Where a lot of movies, we got kills in the first 30 minutes. We had three kills. And then it slowed a tiny bit in the second act. And then we had a great third act. We had 12 bodies. In Halloween, you don't see that many people killed. In Black Christmas, you do not. In Friday the 13th, you do. But this came before Friday the 13th. Again, groundbreaking with a big body count. All the stuff that Friday the 13th is getting credit for. And listen, I'm a Friday fanboy, and so are you. I'm not saying that this is on par with it. I'm saying that a lot of the praise on Friday the 13th, if people knew this came out first, this movie could have been seen, and people could have said, if Friday never came out and other slashers came along after this, this would have been the template.
The problem with this is, you're right. Friday the 13th had stocking scenes. Halloween had stocking scenes. This one took out the stocking scenes, save for a few shots at the feet walking towards the camera in the Santa shoes, and it was like it was missing those key components. So like the killer just pops up, but it's not without its merit. Like I mean, I had fun with it. It's funny. We've already mentioned a lot. I wrote a lot of notes, and I've already blown through most of them. Like you see the night uniform in the background when they're talking in the sorority or finishing school, so you know that's coming into play later.
That was cool. You know, you see it coming, but that was pretty cool.
How did the killer get into that though? Because you know that they were fucking in that scene. You know they were fucking there for a while. All of a sudden, the killer's in the outfit.
First of all, the characters are just ridiculous.
I liked them all, and it's hard to pull off.
They fly in on a private plane to hang out with the girl. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, but they make them realistic when the cops come in and talk about a turning point. I thought it was all going to be one night, and I was like, oh, this is going to be done. Nope.
Right.
Day breaks. Half their friends are missing. They're like, where the hell are they? Cops come into play because Crazy Ralph was killed.
I think I would have preferred it if they didn't have a day break.
Well, I like the introduction of the cops and the creepy cop that holds the girl's face for like 30 seconds as he's like, we're going to It
Which
was so creepy.
Such a creepy scene that certainly it gives a lot away. Not to mention that one of the big things is given away very early on, and it's very easy. It's very predictable. It's extremely predictable. I knew what was going on, in the first 10, 15 minutes.
Because we've seen it all before. But let me say, we've seen it all since. In 1980, when this movie dropped, it would not have been that same.
Maybe I would have had a better experience with it in 1980, but I found the kills. I found it just to be silly. The guy gets away, he runs down the stairs, then all of a sudden he runs back towards the house, and the Santa jumps down and kills him with the rock. And he hits him with the small rock, and he starts seizing, and then the Santa comes up and bashes him with the big rock.
So what? What's wrong with that? I don't get it.
No, it was stupid because he was running away, but somehow once he got down off the deck, he ran back towards the house, back towards the killer, and ran right into the killer.
I don't remember.
There's some sloppy kills. I'm not going to say there isn't. There's some really sloppy directed scenes to this movie. But I don't know, and it kind of adds to its charm. I didn't think I'd be saying this either, Brandon. Trust me. I was like, oh, I'm going to be coming down on this movie. After the first 15 minutes, I'm like, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm not, trust me, when you hear my story, you're probably thinking I'm coming in at like an 8 or 9.
No.
I'm being realistic with this. But I was expecting a turd, and don't get me wrong, this is where a lot of the 80s slasher movies split. Some people will call one movie a turd. Other people will hail it a masterpiece. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, and there will be some people in that camp. I know there would be, because every movie has that group. But it's definitely not a turd, which I was expecting. I will say I was laughing because I came down on The Burning so hard, saying, oh my God, worst day for night photography ever. Well, no, this movie has the worst day for night photography ever. The girls are walking with flashlights, and it's sunny in the background of the thing, and they're pretending that it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They do that in these movies.
Day for night.
They do it.
Yeah.
I could look past that.
Like
I
a
thought it was
$70,000
silly.
budget.
Right, but I mean, come on, the good kills. We get a literal shower head, which, dude, that was awesome. And what about the wire?
Yeah.
What about the wire kill? When he's freaking the thing, and he does. And what about?
And lifts that 200-pound guy up into the air, because the killer really had the strength to do that.
Oh, so you're okay. You're not going to have a problem with Michael Myers picking up the guy with one hand in Halloween 7.
Michael Myers,
but this one you're going to tear apart.
Michael Myers is a supernatural being. He's a boogeyman.
1978.
He's a boogeyman.
Person.
He's a boogeyman.
Okay, fair enough. Fine. But you've seen plenty of slasher movies, and you never
I don't know why.
Tore that apart, but you want to tear this on it.
It was terrible.
I do love how the chicks are instantly attracted to every guy. So there's like 4 guys show up, there's 4 chicks. Instantly they pair up, eh?
Dirty birdie.
I like how the nerdy guy takes his glasses off, hooks up with the one girl, and all of a sudden he's Casanova for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
He even slaps the one girl in the face.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, bitch.
The final girl. He gets with the final girl, who seems like she's going to be the good girl.
They were dating at the time, actually, in real life.
I saw that.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, oh, interesting.
The
And she's hot.
The final girl's from
She is hot.
Ghostbusters. She was the opening.
Yeah.
The opening Ghostbusters.
Big girl. Yep.
A clairvoyant who gets
I
it
always
all
thought
wrong.
Yes, yeah.
Dave, you mentioned some good dialogue, and admittedly, I was like, at one point, I'm like, this dialogue's horrible at the beginning, but then it got good. I wrote down some lines because I thought it was good too. Like the guy when he falls down and fakes his back injury, and she's like, "You're faking it." He's like, "That's what my high school coach used to say." It was just, and then, oh God, you'll be changing that to "Oh Melody, oh Melody." These lines were great. I thought they were.
It was very casual, the dialogue, but I enjoyed most of it. I really did. I mean, that's big in these kind of the kind of slashers I have fun with, like Slaughter High and shit like that. I have fun with the dialogue. I like what's coming out of them. I like the girls. Usually, you don't like the slut girl. I love the slut girl, although you can take your pick. But the girl that gets all batty at the end.
They were all slut girls.
Well, she was
except for the lead.
The one that
dances
around in her craziness. The one that sleeps with the detective. With her boyfriend that came to visit her on the plane is
Oh yeah, the detective in the pink shirt with the juice.
Everybody's swapping partners. It was great, man. I mean, I don't know.
I like the ginger guy at the beginning, screaming to his girlfriend, screaming up to his girlfriend to come down. Cindy.
Yes, the guy at the window.
Yeah, the ginger. That ginger. How did he get a girl like that? That soulless ginger.
Especially the way he smokes a cigarette and sits on a log.
Yeah, what is he from a 1950s movie?
But
I couldn't even see him.
$70,000 budget, and you got plane propeller kills.
Awesome. When I saw Santa sitting in that I laughed out loud. When he was sitting in the driver's seat of that plane, I was like, what the fuck? Okay.
That could have been a great kill if we had seen heads go flying.
We saw enough.
Come on,
I didn't see.
Blood splatter.
It's a big cutaway.
The pilot guy was sitting there camping out for 2 days. He was just waiting for
Harry Reams?
Yeah, or
porn star?
Is that who it was?
Yeah, Harry Reams. He was a porn star. He played the pilot.
Amazing. Okay, so there's 12 kills. Okay?
He was the best part of the movie.
Dude, there's 12 kills, and 6 of them we get to see good stuff. They didn't have the budget of Tom Savini to be in there.
Yeah, but when the killer gets killed, you don't even know how the killer died.
Yes, that's a knock on the film. I agree.
That's a horrible thing.
I'll give you that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well,
I'll give you that.
You talking about the first one? Because the other one
the first killer. The first killer. The second killer is a little bit of a twist. One particular scene in the movie should be a clue, but I didn't see that coming, so that was nice. It definitely bumped it up for me. Let me get this straight. You know, most of what I would call the worst slashers I have turned off or have refused to watch. So the fact that I've watched this through automatically doesn't make this the worst slasher I've ever seen. And I'm coming down on it because I really had high expectations for this, because for years I've heard so many good things that I was expecting.
Oh, no wonder you're so low. I had not heard shit about this movie.
No, me neither.
You know what it is? Right. Within the 22 Shots group, there's so many. I mean, just Moods alone. Moods has seen every movie. Derek has seen, like, every movie.
And I never heard them mention this before.
I've heard people mention this and talk highly of it, and I was just so disappointed. It felt way too low budget. It felt almost like The Dorm that Trip Blood. Slightly better in terms of...
I remember liking that one, too. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, you know, I like it, but again, it's just, I don't know.
Well,
higher expectations.
I just love that, they use the crossbow again at the end to dispatch one of the killers.
Yeah.
But you see the arrow size of that arrow? It's like a meter long. Well, I guess, so for you Americans, like a yardstick.
Right.
A meter is longer than a yard, right? Slightly.
Whatever. Just wanted to give you an idea of what to expect size-wise.
A yardstick and Christian's penis. Because just slightly more than a yard.
Erect.
Yeah, erect. Not blasted.
Hey, you know the prerequisites to be on the show, right? Come on.
Yeah.
He's packing.
No, but I mean, I get the motive for the killer, except the ending is where it really falls apart, is because the motive for the killer kind of becomes weird, because you're left with some final girls, and one of them all of a sudden just starts dancing around the house,
Oh yeah,
singing.
I don't get that either.
She snaps after she sees the first person kill, which is hysterical.
Why did they let her? She should have been killed in the shower. They let her go, and then she just dances around in her craziness.
Recognize one girl.
It's a knock on the movie too, but I liked it.
It's funny though, right? I see.
Well, it's hilarious, but it's like, what the fuck? It's like, come on.
I enjoy those little nuances. I do. Everything. I enjoyed the gore. I enjoy the dialogue. I enjoy the pacing of it. I tell you what. I even thought the soundtrack was cool. And you guys didn't.
No. The soundtrack was.
It was interesting. It was different. I'll tell you that. I've seen a lot of slashers with a lot worse soundtracks than this.
Oh, of course. But this felt canned and cheap, and it was because they had no money. But I'm just saying it was very repetitive. I thought he needed more. I think if the soundtrack was beefier, it would have been a better movie.
I don't have a balcony in my house, but if I did, I probably would have thrown myself off of it somewhere in the third act. Just
what the. Wow.
Well, we're not going to do spoilers because there's really nothing. Like, I mean, the idea of the killers is not even worth spoiling.
No, I do think people should check it out because it does have some twists. But
you killed my baby. This is God. I won't even say. I mean,
it's Friday the 13th before.
Yes. Crazy Ralph, and the guy's name is Ralph.
Vengeful.
Giving warnings. Yeah. Vengeful. Everything that happened later on that became tropes. That was supposedly started in Friday the 13th, and some to Halloween for the final girl being virginal, whatever. It was in this movie, and this came before Friday the 13th. I cannot, as a slasher fan, I cannot get over the fact of that this thing did all that stuff first. And I am a Friday fanboy, admittedly. Christians, we love it. It's in my top 5 dual movies, part 1 and part 2. I love those friggin' movies. So for me to see something that predates Friday and does that stuff blows my mind.
I just running out of air. I love those movies.
I'm telling you, it blew my mind.
I'm with you, man. No, I just, you know what? I usually check the release date. I just automatically assumed this came out November, December, quick cash grab. After Friday the 13th was released.
Came out before, but when was Friday being shot?
No, we know
Friday.
We know they're shot at the same time.
Nobody ripped anybody off because Friday.
Nobody ripped anybody off, but it's I love Friday too, but I don't it's groundbreaking in the sense that it's the first to do it, but when you think of the concept, it's not like holy shit, how did you come up with that? It seems so simple. Somebody had to come up with it.
It was, check it out. It was a mystery. It was a real mystery, okay? It was a whodunit. It was POV used a different way. It was POV, whodunit, the soundtrack, and the gore combined.
But I knew who did it in the first 10 minutes, so it's like, I'm checked out already.
In this movie, you mean?
In this movie. Clearly.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, I thought it was good. Check it out. In the beginning of the movie, there's a conversation going on, and they say Mrs. Calvin called and said that she was going to be gone this weekend. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, that's the killer. And guess what? It wasn't the killer.
No.
So, that's what I'm saying. That in the back of my head, I'm thinking Mrs. Calvin this whole movie. And then, right before the third act hits, I noticed something. I'm like, somebody's been really nice all this time, this and this. Maybe they're going to go this direction.
Somebody's going casually about their business while the body count goes up.
But still, I mean, it held water in the film. It wasn't like it's...
Yeah, and an early trope of, all our friends disappeared. They're around here somewhere. The fact that we haven't seen them for 24 hours, you know them.
But it wasn't a trope at that point. That's the thing.
Right.
No.
It was still, it was still just the tropes and the conventions and everything that we've come to... say a cliche and whatever, we're just starting to get its footing.
So don't we
these movies?
So don't we then blame this movie for creating that trope? I don't know. If I'm hanging out with 6 friends and the next morning 5 of them disappear, I'm not going to be so casual about my day. I'm not going to assume.
They're kids. They're hopping in bed with each other, swapping partners, doing this, doing that, going out to get weed, beer, everything. Come on, man.
It all comes back to weed.
Yeah, the girl in the beginning says something about weed. She's like, you don't have enough weed. Yeah, they go, you haven't had enough pot or something, they say. And they're smoking. Another thing. And she was kind of staying away from the weed when they made a comment about it. She didn't acknowledge it. So again, we had the final girl freaking thing, another trope that came later. It's just now in Friday the 13th, she smoked weed, Alice. So it doesn't even hold water there. And she's probably sexually active. But whatever. I always thought that trope was bullshit anyway. And people made it more than it was supposed to be. But I mean, okay. Props. This is the first Killer Santa. No question about it. This came out January 30th, 1980. Christmas Evil came out after. Silent Night, Deadly Night, 84, etc., etc. This movie was the first in that as well.
What about
How can you
the
not give it
original
props?
All Through the House from the original Tales from the Crypt? When did that come out?
You're right. That
That's
came out in 72, I believe.
But still,
Slasher style.
Yeah,
Okay, slasher style. Killer. I can't believe that this movie didn't get all the negative pub that freaking Silent Night, Deadly Night got, and it got pulled off the freaking shelves. They made that out.
Well, that was more of the mid '80s.
Yeah, 84.
When that whole thing started. So this one was, obviously wasn't a huge success. So probably faded away at that point.
It did.
yeah,
But
and I think I think Silent Night, Deadly Night was definitely way more mean-spirited.
Yeah, and certainly the cover art to this and the title doesn't really, it really wouldn't attract attention from the, what was the whole group in the UK?
Fundamentals or whatever.
The whole group that was.
Oh, you mean the Video Nasties?
Yeah, that whole group.
Okay.
It wouldn't have attracted it because, stuff
It's
like
an
the Driller
alien
Killer.
movie.
Yeah,
It's an
it's
alien
very
movie.
misleading.
The-
Looks like an
boring.
alien or a ghost movie or something.
It looks boring or a ghostly. Yeah, a freaking something like that. When I saw the cover, I was like not looking forward to it. I thought it was going to be some, I don't know what I thought it was going to be. But I put it in and I saw an enjoyable 80s slasher. And I'm as critical as anybody. I love 80s slashers, but a lot of them are shit. We talked about last week, we're going to do that top 50 slasher show. If I'm getting my vote, this movie's on that freaking list.
Oh, God.
Definitely top 30 for the 80s. Definitely. This is better than Prom Night. I'll tell you right now. I don't give a shit.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Whoa.
Fuck Prom Night. I think Prom Night is so overrated, though. So maybe
Don't blaspheme on the show.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm not a big fan of
You
Prom
know
Night. I
what?
think
That's
it's
cool though.
pretty-
This is fun. This is why we do these reviews, because we're at total opposite ends here. I don't, as much as I'm shitting on it, this does have a lot of rewatchability because it is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this is not a movie I would rewatch alone. Like I watched it alone.
True.
This would only be a rewatch if I had buddies over,
Yep.
we were drinking, and we could just sit around and just laugh at how ridiculous and silly it is.
I'll tell you what another one is that has nothing to do with Christmas at all. That is exactly like that. Hospital Massacre. It's also called X-Ray.
X-Ray,
It is
yeah.
the worst piece of garbage.
That's another movie I haven't watched yet.
You
I
gotta
haven't
see
seen.
it though. But it's so bad. It's so bad.
But it's slow.
Yeah,
Slow.
it is
It's one of
slow.
those slow slashers that doesn't have the entertainment value that a film like this has.
Yeah, and it's not,
This film
it's not
does
really
move. It does, because it obviously starts off right away with a kill from a flashback. So, and it's short. I mean, it's it's an 85 minute movie.
That became a trope too. The kill in the beginning and then the revenge at the end. And this movie, again, did it first. How can you not give it props? I'm not saying 10 out of 10 because I'm not going to take the Black Christmas route and say just because they did that, they're the best. No, but you can't deny that this movie did all these things first. I think that's amazing. I really do. I
Props for
can't
that.
believe
Does it deserve higher points for that?
I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10. That's
No,
what
does
I'm saying.
it?
I'm not.
I'm asking genuinely.
Yes.
Does it deserve to be given
Yes.
a higher grade because it's one of the first to do these things?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
It's innovative. I said groundbreaking. So, okay, maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion, but it's the first. It's innovative.
Okay.
It's something that
I could certainly bump this up, a half a point or a point, if that's genuinely how you feel.
You should.
Because I don't like Black Christmas because it was the first. I like Black Christmas because it's atmospheric as hell, and I just think it's creepy as hell. Yeah. And I just genuinely like the story. I know what your major issue is with it, and that is my major issue with it. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me. It's probably more like an 8.5, 9 out of 10 for me. But I love it so much, and I watch it over and over because I want to try to figure out and explain to you your issue with it.
You can't.
I'll find it one day.
It's a cheap rip-off freaking ending of a movie, and a cheap rip-off. Please.
I think I'm gonna find it one day because I'm onto something, and I have to rewatch it again. And for episode 50.
So what do you rate this then, Brandon?
Okay, you ready?
Oh,
Go ahead.
or did you want to say more?
I want to say one thing that was funny.
Yeah.
The Crazy Ralph guy, he looks just like that guy from King of the Hill. You guys watch that cartoon King of the Hill?
Again, not in a long time, but yeah.
Okay, you know that one guy that has that flat face and he goes like, that talks that way weird?
Yeah.
He looks like 100% exactly like that cartoon.
I like Crazy Ralph. I like how he spent time in a mental hospital and had a list of assaults, but yet he gets a nice job at a girls' school.
carrying garden shears with him everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
And how about the burying right away? They kill people and then they bury them.
Yeah.
A lot of burying scenes.
Yes.
A lot of burying scenes.
That would take. Couple hours.
I do like the scene where the killer takes the shovel and smashes the hand. You hear the hand kind of crunch. The hand still sticking out of the ground. I did like that. I was like, ew. Yeah, there wasn't a lot. I didn't feel like there was too much filler. Maybe a little bit of walking around that could have been tightened up, but it needs that to build up to the showdown with the killer.
Man, it took me by total surprise. Go ahead. We can go ratings until someone else has something else to add.
No, I'm good.
I'll go ahead. I was underwhelmed by this. I had high expectations for this. I don't know why, and I actually thought I owned it, but I don't. As much as I was ripping it apart and criticizing this and that, it does have a big body count. It does, and it does have an extra twist at the end, which saved it for me because I did feel like it was so predictable. I mean, there's even a scene where it gives it away, and it's very early on in the movie. I didn't notice it, but I read about the scene, and I was like, oh yeah.
It's a picture, right?
Yeah, the picture.
Yeah, I read that too.
But I didn't notice it the first time. I noticed it the second time, but by then you already knew. So, it's just an average. It was average and forgettable. With all these points you're making about it coming out before Friday and that, I could bump it up a little, but it's a 5.5 for me then.
That's kind of good. I actually had a 6 out of 10. I mean, I was gonna give it a 4.5, but I as you talked about it, I bumped it up a half a point because you made some decent points, and I bumped it up another half a point for the things like
for the
yeah, 5 is totally average, and I just said this surprised me. It was better. It's not fantastic. It surprised me. I enjoyed it. 6 out of 10.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, I'm coming a little higher. Like I said everything I'm going to say. It's freaking. First of all, I'm a big slasher fan, especially the 80s. A lot of times I go to watch a slasher for the first time, and I don't expect much from it, and I get something out of it that I really enjoy. And there's only so many slashers, less than freaking 30, I bet, that have that right pace and enough gore in the film, and the dialogue keeps me in. And this is one of them. I never expected that when I sat down. And once I looked at the date and I saw how freaking, how it was the first of all these things and it gets no credit, I was like, wow, I can't believe this. So for me, it's a 7 out of 10. I recommend it. Everybody should watch this movie if you're a slasher fan, an 80s slasher fan. Do not watch the one on YouTube.
Yeah, do not watch the VHS copy.
Dude,
you can't see anything.
No, it's like they took a VHS and they ripped it out and they freaking dipped it in motor oil and Vaseline and freaking put it back in the player.
Why Vaseline?
Funny enough, what Brandon uses for lube.
Yeah.
And a good segue into Treevenge.
But wait 1 second, please. I have another recording to play. This is from this movie, and it's cracked me up. This guy's reaction, how long it took for this guy to want to get help. Just listen to what's going on around him and what happens. Listen, this is great. After 30 seconds of screaming,
I've got to
get help. Oh,
Brandon just took his half point away.
So much fun. That soundtrack didn't sound bad though. Come on. Anyway, yeah. 7 out of 10. I'll say it again. Just surprised the hell out of me. So, and it's going to be.
You know what? These are the type of films that even when we hate them, we tend. These are the films that we give a pass because don't you want to have all those 80 slashers in your collection? Even the crappy ones. Yeah,
because I want to see in case I missed them. You know,
yeah.
I definitely want to see them all because it's like my favorite subgenre.
It's one of my favorite subgenres, and I feel the same. So it's a film that I would still buy, even though I really didn't like.
Oh, I can't wait to get the blue. The quality of it is great. It's for freaking Kino. I can't.
Yeah, I actually found a blue download online. I watched that, and it looked great.
Yeah, I cannot wait to watch this next holiday season with my friends because they've watched a million slashers with me, and like I said, no one has seen this one, so I'm gonna have fun next year. So yeah, to All A Goodnight, check it out. That's what I say. That brings us to what?
Treevenge.
All right.
All right, next up, Treevenge from 2008, directed by Jason Eisner. Christmas trees ripped out of their forest plan revenge against people enjoying the holidays.
Our first short film review,
Official, yeah.
first time watch for me. Matter of fact, all 3 movies tonight are a first time watch for me.
Look, yeah, I think I had actually all first time watches for me, and I think I deserve props for the format for the show, going with a short, a foreign, and an American.
It was good.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the short was Canadian too, so it was even better. Treevenge is a Canadian production.
Yeah, well, you see half the cast of Trailer Park Boys in there, and Jason Eisner. He did Hobo with a Shotgun. He did that VHS 2 segment with the aliens. He was the editor on Southbound from this year.
Yeah, Jason Eisner was a name I recognize.
Yeah, he's a name, and honestly, the fact that he's a talented guy who's done stuff that we love shows here because I thought Treevenge was amazing.
Oh, it's a lot of fun, and this isn't my first time watch. Someone pointed this out to me a few years ago. It wasn't back in 2008. I'll tell you that right now. It was probably 2 Christmases ago. Someone sent it to me, and I watched it a couple of times, and I'm like, this is great.
How awesome is it?
It is. It's phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
He gives trees their own little language. You buy into it right away.
It's like Star Wars.
Almost
wasn't
touching
it?
moments.
Well, that's what it was taken after. It was taken after the Ewoks.
They were like Jawas or Ewoks. Okay, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
they actually reference it. That I read about it. That's what they were supposed to sound like.
There you go. Good stuff.
Great setup. I mean, of course, he loves going over the top with like the like characters with the motherfuckers, and all that, but it works.
Yeah,
that was like an homage. That was like an homage to they had an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre in there. The guy was waving the chainsaw over his head, and they were going crazy. It was like a massacre. It was awesome.
When it began, I thought it was going to be too comical, and then they strayed away from that for the rest of the film.
They did.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I'm glad they did.
Oh, there's that one. I love that one shot. It's like tree cam, I'll call it. If the tree's getting dragged out, it's like, what are they doing to us? But you just see guys in the background like kicking trees, like
yeah. They set one on fire.
Yeah,
what the
yeah, they're burning trees. I like when they're crossing past the 2 guys and the trees get caught on each other because they're holding on to each other. Hold on. Oh my God, this was phenomenal. And the music, they used the Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes.
By Riz Ortolani. I love it. It was, oh my God, I had so much fun with this.
The opening
I
is
felt
great.
bad.
The opening is great, and it doesn't get worse. Like when it cuts to the family picking up the tree, it was just as good. That's John O'Vision. He used to have a talk show in Canada, and has been in a bunch of things too. And I don't know, his wife might be from Trailer Park Boys. I don't know about that, but
who are you talking about? J-Rock and Sarah are from.
Well, I will tell you, the one kind of jarring moment is when they cut back to that trailer because it comes out of nowhere. It's not jarring.
The guy getting his leg.
No. I'm just talking about when they first cut to the family. They bring
then
the tree home.
The other family.
And they cut to the family trying to knock the TV, and there's that guy standing back there, just like beside the tree, like kind of looking over the shoulders, and he never comes back into play. It's not even that. I'm trying to be.
Well, I think
nitpicky.
he does come back into play. I think he's the one who gets his leg chopped off.
Oh, I thought that was one of the other guys. But anyway,
I don't know, it was mayhem. when all
Minor
that shit
quibble,
started going
minor
on.
quibble, because it was so fun, and it just goes to total chaos at the end, so it's great.
Now this was
so good.
gore.
Yeah.
This had one of the coolest kills I've ever seen.
There was some good ones.
The baby stomp?
The baby stomp is absolutely amazing, but the guy who's like, it's Christmas, all I want to do is fuck.
Yeah.
And then the tree goes in her eye, out her mouth, into the other guy's mouth, and out his eye, and then pulls them together.
Awesome.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, dude. That was great. What was his problem when they were? He kept trying to get it on. He kept complaining about something going on with his knee.
Horse. I think he was just.
I didn't get it.
He had his knee wrapped up. I think he had hurt his knee. And he's like, it's Christmas, damn it! All I want to do is fuck. Because she's like, you want to open presents or something?
Oh, it was wrapped up. See, I didn't see anything. At first, I thought maybe the tree was touching him, and then they went back to it. I'm like, why does this guy have issues? I couldn't see. Maybe it was just the. Whatever.
Trying to read deep into it.
Even when the trees start killing the family, I mean, look, it just kind of pulls the girl in, and it just is just ripping her apart or whatever. And then the star, the holiday star, right in the neck.
Oh,
phenomenal.
That was cool.
Awesome.
I love how there's that old guy trying to climb up a pole to get away from it, and it's using the tinsel.
Yeah, the tinsel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pulled them right back.
Yeah.
I've actually put that down. That's great.
That was genius.
Then it cuts to the two girls. They're outside, and all of a sudden you see the trees running and surrounding them.
Yeah.
From the trailer park, and then it goes back inside the trailer, and I think that was the father who gets his leg chopped off, and then all of a sudden it just pans out to like the whole neighborhood, and that's where you see the guy climbing the pole. You see the guy who actually played the hobo with a shotgun in the short. He's the one with the shotgun in this. He's screaming, "You'll never take me alive!" And he's shooting trees. The people are running around. The woman with her baby.
How about the cat?
The cat getting tossed out of the trailer.
Awesome.
Was
awesome.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, small animals and babies. I'm sold.
It's 16 minutes, but really, it's probably closer to 13. I think the credits at the end.
Yeah, the credits are long.
It's just it clicks along so great. I've watched it 4 times already this year. It's awesome. It's so quick to watch. I figured.
Yeah, that's true. I can't wait to show it to my wife because we had this whole discussion. Because I'm I guess you could say I'm a tree hugger, whatever. I actually felt bad the first 5 minutes for the trees. I was thinking, like, man, that sucks because
it makes
I don't
sense.
like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole thing with the trees. And all my life I grew up with artificials, so maybe that's why I'm biased. But when I got with my wife, she was all about real trees. And number one, it's such a freaking ripoff. There's so much money to buy these freaking trees. It pisses me off. Number 2, they mess up your damn house. Number 3, I don't like killing trees. And it's just a big pain in the ass. And I probably sound like a Grinch, but I just freaking don't like killing. Okay, it sucks. So I'm
Jewish.
That's why.
Tannenbaum. But I freaking don't like the real trees, anything about it. And then I'm watching this, and I'm like, man, why did they do that to these poor trees? So this is not supposed to be taken seriously at all, but for a few minutes watching the film, I was like, that kind of bothers me the more I think about it.
It was kind of sad at the beginning. It was like a massacre, but you felt bad for the trees. I felt bad, too.
Right,
I totally agree.
I'm the Lorax over here.
That poor tree getting banged around in the truck, and then they pull like, "You're no good. Turn him into a wreath."
But then as it goes on, awesome.
Awesome. And the baby stomp kill is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I don't like baby deaths in my movies, but they set that up so good where the baby tree gets stomped on. So it's just returning the favor.
Yeah.
So that's what's great about it.
Yeah, the baby trees get stomped on very early, and then, comes back to it. And then the tree's carrying the dead baby.
Yeah. It's filmed and edited perfectly. It's just perfect. And that last shot of the tree bouncing away.
Yeah, bouncing.
Man,
I wanted it to go on for another 20 minutes.
Man, see, this should have been in that holidays movie, or should have been in another Christmas Day anthology. It would have been perfect. It's unfortunate
How come they don't put out films like this on DVD? How come they don't put out DVDs of like these great short films?
I agree.
Well, it's really weird too, because if you watch it on YouTube, it's a muddy, low quality version of the movie.
That's the one. That's the one I saw. YouTube.
You got to go to Vimeo.
Yeah, Vimeo.
Or what is it? Vimeo.
Vimeo. I don't know.
Galileo.
That's why.
No, I don't. I honestly don't know what it is, so I'm not making fun. Vimeo, I call it.
Yeah, I think it's.
That's
Vimeo.
where I watched it. It looked really good on that.
You got to go to that one, and that has the HD version.
Oh, it could be
That's
Vimeo.
why. That's why I couldn't tell what was going on with the guy's leg. I couldn't see that it was wrapped. If I would have watched it on Vimeo, I would have probably got what was going on there.
Yeah, an injury, because all they do is fuck.
Hey, right on.
Right on.
So there you go, guys. Don't go to YouTube. Go to Vimeo. And you better watch this one because it's... Vimeo? Galileo Vimeo.
Vimeo.
Anyway, Derek actually posted the link to the HD version, so...
Yeah, he did.
But it's great, and I mean we talked almost as long as the actual movie itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should rate it then. Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a 10 out of 10. It's a short, it's in, it's out, it's everything. It's fun.
I say 9.5. I say 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, and
teeny bit, but that's not much.
Dave, I think I hinted this to you yesterday or this morning. I'm not sure when, but I said I think we might have a Hall of Famer on our hands. This was exactly what I was talking about because it's perfect. It's a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
It's so much fun. It's perfect. I'd watch this every holiday season now.
Maybe after I see the Vimeo, I'll bump it up to 10. But it might have to do with my shitty YouTube copy. So, either way, there you go. 29.5 officially now. Hall of Fame. Who would have thought it?
Treevenge is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, Treevenge. So let's look at our Hall of Fame. Rosemary's Baby. Martyrs. Rosemary's Baby, Martyrs, Trick or Treat, and Treevenge, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And maybe next week, there might be one or two that might slip in. I know there was one that was close that might slip in next week. I have a feeling. We're gonna get 2 or 3 in next week. So.
I think so too.
But it's funny. People are gonna be like, "What? You don't have Texas Chainsaw Massacre in your Hall of Fame, but you have Treevenge."
Hey, we haven't
just
covered
because
it.
we haven't covered it exactly.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was actually very partial to the movie, our third movie tonight too.
Our third movie was a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. Well, okay. Well, I guess we can get into it then.
Yeah, why not? Let's get right into it.
All right.
Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale from 2010, directed by Jalmari Helander. Okay, this one, in the depths of the Corvatuna-Turi Mountains lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up. This Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. Nailed it. From Marco's land. Marco's homeland.
What? Oh, is it?
Finland, yeah.
Is it? Okay, all right. Okay, Finland it is.
From the birthplace of the real Santa, according to the final credit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't quite get that, but yeah.
Again, I'm Jewish. I don't know. I'll take it. I'll believe it.
I'll tell you, this movie looks gorgeous. It's filmed beautifully. Great cinematography.
Great cinematography.
Yeah. Cinema, the whole 9 yards. It looks great. It sounds great. There's English-speaking parts. You know what? I got to tell you this. I don't know if this movie found an audience. I know it had a bit of a cult following. Unless you guys could tell me something different, everything that I sort of read, it sounded like it did okay, but it didn't really. It did decent, but it definitely has a bigger cult following now than its success at the box office. I mean, it did well though. I almost, because I love this movie, so this is going to sound weird, but again, I love the movie. I would love to remake this movie because I have a feeling it would be just because I'll say North Americans, so I don't feel like I'm coming down on Americans. They like to have things in their language, and so I think this would play better if maybe it took place in the Arctic. And it was, American Canadians out there living there, and then maybe there's some Finnish exploration going on.
The acting in this was really good. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're watching a foreign language film, but I thought the acting was good. I thought the kid was great. The atmosphere is fantastic. Dave, you must have loved it with all the snow and just the setting.
Blood of the Snow.
You're a snow guy. A snow guy.
Or was this too kidsy for you?
Okay. That was what I was about to say. If you did remake it, would you maybe put some fucking kills that we could see in the film? Because we don't get that in this movie. We don't get Santa Claus, and we get everything but Santa Claus.
That's my biggest gripe with this movie, is that we don't get Santa Claus, and when they finally show Santa Claus, you're like, oh my god, that would be so awesome if we got to see Santa Claus.
Thank you. And we don't get to see it. Instead, they should have made that one guy Santa Claus, the first guy that they kidnapped. That 100%. Yes,
that was a good twist. That was a good twist, though.
It was a good twist. But then I'm like, to lead up to something better, but then they don't give you the big payoff.
Yeah.
There's a different payoff, but it's almost CGI-did. And I agree. I go, that would be one of the big letdowns of the movie, because they could have had a big ending with the real Santa.
Look, the reason why there aren't a lot of kills in this is, to be honest, this definitely plays more like a comedy.
I guess it's a little comedy.
I felt like it played more like a total horror comedy.
I'm surprised you didn't. Dave, you don't seem impressed by this movie.
Oh, I like it. I like the movie. I don't think it's all
I love
that.
the kids. I love the kids looking through the book of all the lore about Santa Claus.
Yeah, he just happens to have that book. That's what you're telling me.
He's really big into Christmas. He's like 8 years old?
Yes, but you don't understand. This guy is obsessed with Santa Claus, yet he never looked at those books on the lore of Santa Claus. All of a sudden now, because he gets afraid of something, he goes and looks. He just happens to have those books.
No, that guy wasn't looking. It was the kid looking. The guy.
That's what I'm talking about. The kid. Yes. Starts with a P, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he saw that Santa was on his roof. Pietari.
He saw that Santa was what?
Petri dish.
Petri dish. Rod Petri dish. Yes. No, listen. This kid in the beginning, the other kid's busting his balls about, you don't still believe in Santa, this and that. This kid genuinely is into Santa Claus, right? He wants to see this, that, the other thing. Now, because this kid plants a seed in his head about Santa Claus, he goes home and he has all these books. He just happens to come across this book with this freaking lore of Santa that he's never seen before. It just
I don't think it's hard to believe that a kid would have books on Santa Claus.
Yes, but this kid is into Santa Claus, and he's never looked at those books, and all of a sudden now, because the subject comes up, he's just going to happen to stumble upon them? It's just way too convenient, man.
You're nitpicking, like I nitpicked.
No, I'm not.
That's All A Goodnight.
I didn't nitpick. I'm watching the movie. I'm like, gee, that's awful convenient. I thought of it right away as I saw it. And he's looking at all those Krampus-looking pictures, which were cool, but I'm thinking, so what, he just happened to pick out those books when he went home? It just seemed a little convenient for me. That's all.
I like the guy at the beginning who's like funding the dig, how... Once he realizes what he got, he hands out the new rule sheet, and it's like no cursing.
No smoking.
No smoking.
That was cool, and it made sense.
Yeah, and nobody listens, obviously.
No. Watch your mouth. It's Christmas time, they said.
Well, I also love they don't spoon feed you the story, too, like the background. It almost seems like his mother may have passed away or whatever. They don't tell you anything, right? You just see
that's what you gather.
Eye. Yeah, you just gather.
Yeah. They're eating a lot of gingerbread throughout the whole film.
Yeah, gingerbread. And the kid running around in his freaking underwear. I was like, what the hell? In the cold like that? What am I seeing here? Is this guy like freaking Victor Salva, this director?
I don't know, but me likey.
Oh. Yeah. I'm telling you, this movie plays like a family movie until they decide to throw a bunch of elf cock at the end of the movie.
Right. If it wasn't for that elf cock, I could show it to my daughter.
Yeah, I don't know. My kids are really not into... My one daughter would probably be into enjoying the subtitles. Christian wouldn't be able to read them yet, so that's the only downfall of it being subtitled for a good portion of the film. So it'd be something they have to read later. But it just seemed very, very bizarre. Again, different cultures. I hear you, but they're hosing those guys down, and it's all this elf cock.
Dave, I think you could take the fact that the kid has this book, take it as part of the comedy of the movie. Because look at it. Everything he says almost turns out to be true. And then all of a sudden, the guy with his potatoes, he's like, your potatoes were stolen? No, just the sacks. And then all the radiators are missing. The guy's talking about it.
I didn't.
That was awesome.
I was like, wow.
It was
Yeah.
funny. I knew it was the guy carrying on with his wife's blow dryer because it was like a top end blow dryer.
Well, that part was funny, but I mean, the potato thing and the heat, I didn't find any humor in it at all. I was like wowed by it. I'm like, that was a cool scene when they went in there and you see, and he goes, wait till you see what I have to show you. Well, not the potato.
Oh,
but,
it,
and then he
was,
goes in there,
it was pure comedy.
and
It
those
was
mounds
pure
of potato. I didn't think it was comedy at all. I was like,
Did
wow, that's freaking
And what
crazy.
the sax
Christian, what do you
reviews-
think?
A combination. I thought it was funny, but crazy at the same time too. I
Okay.
was just wowed because again, I never saw this. I don't know how it escaped me because I do remember when it was coming out, people were saying a blend of horror comedy, and normally that doesn't throw me off. Some people get thrown off by hearing horror comedy. I was actually intrigued, and here we are 6 years later, and I'm finally seeing it.
I love just saying he's biting the guy, then they hang him up by the
Yeah.
chains and it's just swinging there. I thought it was hilarious, and the way the sacks were used was the funniest scene because honestly, if that was a flying nutsack at the end,
Yeah.
it was a flying nutsack. Go back and watch it. It was clearly a flying nutsack.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Of course, you noticed the
CGI flying
nutsack right away.
Oh yeah, 'cause I always have them flying right at my face, so it was clearly a
Well, you
flying
must have been drooling for the last act of this movie, flying nutsacks, 20 naked men.
Oh,
You look at like 200 naked men.
Yeah.
oh man, what the hell?
I love
Okay.
how they try to ransom them at the end. How much you want? 85 grand. They don't even know what they're doing. They just want exactly enough to pay for the fact
Right.
that their stock of reindeer were killed.
Yeah. That part was cool though, with the reindeer when they saw them slaughtered and shit like
Yeah,
that.
very
I
cool.
dug that. And the mystery of what happened and the kids knew and they didn't want to say. That
Yeah.
stuff was fine. I was fine. Some things were a little too convenient. And like I said, we don't really see too much in the horror department. And then, yeah, I'll say one good thing. I like those creepy doll things. Those freaking things that were, in place of the kids and the other shit. Those were creepy looking.
Yeah, what the hell were those? They were very
Scarecrows
scary.
almost.
Yeah. I like
think
that.
It was playing more to the visual. Like they would just show the hard hats flying into the shot instead of seeing gore.
Right.
And you notice Pietari, like when he took control at the end, he was hilarious when he's bossing everyone around. And
See,
you know,
that didn't make sense to me. That turned me off. I'm like, all
And
of a
he's-
sudden they're going to start taking orders from a kid? What is this?
and then he
That's
stole
not-
the line from Point Break when he's like, "Drop me here." He's like, "I'm not coming back."
They give it a nice sweepy music. It's a little too CGI at the end for my likings. That whole like the helicopter flying through the winter, but they didn't dwell in it too long, which is fine. But
You didn't like the flying nutsack?
not as much as you did, evidently.
I was out of it when that happened. As soon as this kid started giving orders and these guys were listening, I was thinking, well, why would they just suddenly listen to a kid in such a serious situation like this? So when that happened, I kind of fell out of it. And then I was like, well, I came back when I saw all the Santas at the end and what was going on, but then I fell out of it again because all of a sudden I'm like, how come they domesticated these fucking evil beings all of a sudden?
Because they had entered the hangar at that point, the hangar 24, and they had discovered what was really going on. And obviously, the kid knows everything about Christmas because he's obsessed with it.
Okay, so what does that mean? That he
knew-
calls the shots?
He had
Because
the
this kid's
ideas.
obsessed.
He came up with the ideas. They were out of ideas, and his ideas were actually cool and clever. I like that it was played on at the beginning, and then they used it at the end.
You know what? I'll accept that.
And the
He's
very
obsessed
end
with
of the
Christmas.
and the very end of the movie is absolutely hilarious. What
Yeah.
they end up doing is absolutely it's hilarious and
Great way to
great.
end the movie. I love
Yeah.
that when they did that.
Yeah.
That was cool. I agree. I didn't understand why. Like I said, I don't understand how they domesticated them all of a sudden. These guys were freaking evil bastards, and all of a sudden, they're
When you
gonna
see
make them good guys?
they have them with the dolls like children on the lap, and then the one guy drops a doll and he's looking at his present. He gets
Right.
yelled at because he's not paying attention to the children.
But why? Why would these guys want to do that?
It was to
Because they're going to export them
yeah,
to make money.
To make money.
They even ask how much you think we can get for each one.
talking
85,000
up-
for each one.
I understand their motivation. I'm talking about the elf guys. Why the sudden change of heart when they want to be good people and they're okay to be taught and used as a prop? I don't get that.
No, I think it was because the real Santa was dead, so the master was dead. They now had the chance to be Santas, and they were domesticated to be good Santas,
Yeah.
as opposed to evil. That's what I took. I mean,
Yeah.
That's how I saw
That's
it.
exactly what it is. They become the Santas that are gonna
The Coca-Cola
keep Christmas
Santas.
alive.
So they just become
Yeah.
Coca-Cola Santas, right? They just go. They're villains for their whole existence, and all of a sudden, they're just these freaking jabronis are just going to domesticate them by giving them some showers and showing them some toys. Just seemed a little.
I like how they got cleaned on day 312. That's the only thing that didn't make sense. Why did they wait 53 days to clean them?
That's funny because I wondered that too because I expected it to see 365 days of Christmas, but no, it's
Yeah, well, right to 312, and that's when they're getting showers, and they have all the mud still on them.
Oh my gosh!
Like, what? They just kept them in that pen for 53 days?
Right? And what did they
But
learn?
Honestly, the fact that these guys were just like practical businessmen, they took the husks off the Santa.
That was cool.
That was awesome, man. How awesome would this movie have been if we had seen the Santa?
That would have been a.
People are going to be mad. This is not a straight up horror film. This is like a comedy with horrific elements, I think, and a holiday movie with horrific elements. Maybe that's even a better way to put it.
It's more of just like a scary movie. I could see the scaring. This will scare you more than it's horror. It's more of a scary film.
Well, shit! Like I said, you don't see anybody get killed.
No, but it's not that kind of film. It didn't bother me that I didn't see anyone get killed in it.
I just figured I would. It's a horror movie. Christmas is from another country. Usually films from other countries are even more fucking brutal than American films.
This one was more like almost family oriented, with the exception of the elf's nutbag.
I just didn't. The elf's nutbag. I just didn't anticipate that. And here's the funny thing: I didn't really notice any comedy. Isn't that odd?
I said comedy, but I meant
the
wholesome
tone. Yeah,
like it literally plays like a holiday movie that happens to have a horrific sort of theme to it, but it's not a straight out horror movie by any means.
No.
But that's what intrigued me about it. Just like Krampus from last year is a lot plays the horror elements a lot more so.
No, it's horrific, the things that were going on in Krampus outside and shit. There's some scenes that were amazing.
Like, I mean, but again, they still keep the holiday feeling of the movie, too.
Which is why it was
cranked the horror up on that one, yeah.
But that, to me, that's why it's a perfect holiday movie. And listen, don't get me wrong. Just because I'm saying all these things, I think you guys are going to come in higher with your rating. My rating isn't that bad. I'm just pointing out some things.
I have a feeling we're all going to come in a similar ballpark, but
it's a good film.
With the comedy, it's not even that things are laugh out loud. Yeah, I was laughing out loud at a few scenes, but it's more of the tone of the film.
Yeah,
I guess maybe I didn't.
It's a lighthearted, scary Christmas film.
When the kid said, "I'm not coming back," I didn't find any humor in that. I took that as serious, and it's like, "Oh, that's fucked up." You know what I mean? But you took it as a rip on Point Break or something. It was supposed to be
I immediately thought of Point Break.
I didn't get that at all. So I guess we just had different experiences. I didn't notice any of that type of humor.
I didn't for 1 second think that he was not coming back.
Oh, I figured some shit would happen, but
based on the tone of the film, it was just sort of like he was on top of the world. He was the head honcho. He was willing to sacrifice himself.
He's just pulling an American movie line out. He was like, I'm not coming back. And it was just like a throwaway line. I'll tell you this. All 3 movies tonight, I think I'll revisit every holiday season. And on a lesser note, to All Goodnight, but I still think I'll check that out because I enjoyed it. But Treevenge, no question.
Yeah.
And this movie, no question. No question. I like I said, I wish my son was a bit older because I think he would really like it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he'd be able to read. Though, like at 5, he would be like, "Dad, what's going on here?"
What about those cocks, though?
That's a just skip 10 seconds over.
Yeah, you could do that. That's true. I did that yesterday with my daughter. We watched Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, and as I'm watching it, I look in the parents' guide on the B, and it says something about the lovemaking scene with Ray Don Chong and the guy, and for 7 seconds you could see a nipple. So when they got together, they started kissing. I just did a little fast forward on freaking Netflix.
Why don't you, before you watch the movie, go to those scenes and find the placement of the nipple and put a little, like, little peanut butter over it or something on the actual TV.
He doesn't want to eat it.
Yes.
Put a little peanut butter. Out of anything you could have chose, peanut butter is what
Right, peanut butter on my television. Right.
I don't know why I eat a lot of peanut butter, and I just thought it'd be cool.
Oh shit.
God, for anyone who's wondering, I am sick. That's why I sound like shit.
This is
You're sick, all right.
This is a perfect example. So we were talking the Neon Demon. Funny enough, because of the article on the Neon Demon, not so much about the movie here, but that movie has a lot to sort of talk about. This is just a fun, easygoing movie. There's some twists, and some surprises, but it's a lot more straightforward.
Yes.
So, I don't think we could be talking about this for hours and hours and hours, is where I'm going with it. But I think people should check it out. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Especially if you want to see something for the holiday season that has horrific elements, that is not Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1 through 5 or whatever. And, or you have seen All A Goodnight.
Look, people do the 30 days of Halloween challenge. Do people do 25 days of Christmas once December 1st comes? Because if they do, I would certainly
like an advent calendar,
add these into the rotation.
If that's the case, then I'd add my 25 Deaths of the Elf on the Shelf in there too.
Nice.
Seasons. I don't know if I'll have time to do one this year. I did do one last year, so these.
Did you see Derek wants you to get a mensch on the bench? Wants you to start killing Jews because everybody loves when Jews die.
That's what he said, isn't it? Hey, if you guys fund this podcast, fund our productions, fund our movies, we'll do this stuff. But the other time too, I have a job to do too. I'd love to do Mensch on the Bench. The Elf on the Shelf almost killed me. The 25 Deaths of the Elf on the Shelf almost killed me the second season. I love how he says season. The second year I did it, because you're just coming.
We got canceled after season 2.
Yeah. Made it to 23 days.
We're now in syndication.
Well, we're second season right here. This is it. This is the first episode of.
Is this technically?
This is it. Yeah.
This is technically it, but I feel like episode 28 is going to be the. It's weird because we started.
Right.
Our second episode was a Christmas episode. This is our second annual Christmas episode.
That's true.
I've actually enjoyed both the Christmas episodes we've done very much.
Oh yeah.
Remember how we did go see Krampus last year? Because that would have been.
Dave, you were right on about that.
Yeah.
And not to spoil, with the giveaways next week, Krampus is one of the movies that will be in one of the prize packs.
There you go.
So
nice.
Yeah, two giveaways, maybe 3 if I find extra stuff to give away. But leave us a review on iTunes, voicemail, email.
Twitter to Twatter.
That's right. Do it. Okay. Off the top of your head, what are your top 3 Christmas horror? 3, 2, 1. What are they? Can you do it?
Oh God, shit!
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm putting you on the spot for fun.
I think I can do it. I would go Black Christmas
is 1.
As 1.
Okay.
Krampus is a close second, and oh man, now I'm drawing a blank for the third because I know there's so many others. I don't know. All right, I gave you 2. I gave you 2. Those are my 2 favorites. Those are clearly my 2 favorites.
And I'd say Krampus is my first, Black Christmas is my second, and I draw a third. I honestly think Rear Exports may be my third.
Wow.
Maybe. I'm not, like Silent Night, Deadly Night was good. It's a good slasher movie. I know you love it a lot, Dave. It's good.
I do love it.
Christmas Evil, I love Christmas Evil for the whacked out ending.
Yes, I do too.
Same thing with Don't Open Till Christmas has a crazy ending.
I forgot it, but I
forgot
I
that
have
one
it.
because I remember the magical ending of a van flying off into the air for Christmas Eve.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And landing on clearly what is not snow but like a carpet.
But Do Not Open to Christmas I haven't seen in a long time. So Elves I wouldn't even put it there.
That's awful.
Black Xmas is a fun gory remake, but like not definitely third tier quality or whatever, or top 3 quality. So I'd say right now Rear Exports until I can think of something different.
You know, I saw a film called Saint. You guys should see that. That was pretty good too. And honestly, when we did, I mean, Silent Night, Bloody Night, but when we did Christmas Horror Story, I kind of really enjoyed that. with the exception of the nativity trapped in the school segment being the weakest of the segments.
Yeah,
I thought it was a fun anthology.
I was gonna check that out again this year because I really did enjoy that. And again, if you're including Inside as a Christmas movie, then it might be my number one. Then that because
if Inside's included, then it's Inside, Black Christmas, and Krampus as the three.
I never think about Inside as a Christmas movie.
Neither do I. I don't.
Even though it takes place at Christmas, but yeah, I mean, it just seems to be secondary to the actual.
I feel like there has to be like a Santa or something Christmassy in there, just because it takes place on the day. There's nothing in the house that suggests it's Christmas.
Enough, I've never been a huge fan. I like it, but I've never been a huge fan of Gremlins.
I like it too, but
Gremlins is okay. I'm not obsessed with it. It's good.
No, I like it, but
and maybe that segment you better watch out. I love that segment. You better watch out. It always used to freak me out.
Oh wait a minute! You better watch out.
All Through the House. I apologize. All Through the House.
That's good shit.
And that new movie this year. That new movie this year called All Through the House was decent.
Yeah,
definitely had the Christmas vibe.
Yes, it did.
Did you guys like that remake of Silent Night? I was like lukewarm. It had some good kills in it, but
it did. I
never saw the remake.
I'd say 6.5 to 7 out of 10. That's how I would give it.
6.5 seems like what I would have given it. 6 to 6.5.
Too much cop shit. I don't like when it's too much cop shit. Because the characters were cops.
You know from last episode.
Too much.
That.
Too much cock shit.
Too much maniac cop shit.
No, too much cock shit was rear exports. Oh, how about that? Rear exports cocks. There you go.
Peanut butter on the television screen. What's going on?
Oh, that would be rear imports. Sorry.
Rear imports.
I'll tell you what. Here's my top.
Brandon Orlick. Oh, sorry.
Krampus, number 1. Silent Night, Deadly Night, number 2. Black Christmas, number 3. There you go. And you could tell that the pickings are slim.
Yeah, they really are when you think about it.
They are.
The fact that, honestly, some of the better ones have come out in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's grade this film. What's our ratings?
Oh,
okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Christian.
You came up with the show idea this week, Brandon. So thank you for To All Goodnight, Treevenge, and this, man. Because
all first time watches for me. That's part of the reason why I went with it. But I would have switched it if you guys had any say in it. But I wanted to see all three. I'm glad I saw all three. This one, the only thing to me that was missing was to get to see the Santa Claus. This film ran really short. This film, even though it says it's like an 85-minute film, which is short in its own right, only runs like 75 minutes.
Yeah.
So this film could have benefited from another 15 or 20 minutes, and it still would have only been an hour and a half, an hour and 35, and they could have brought the Santa Claus character out of the ice and into the story.
For the big finish.
And the fact that it wasn't gory didn't even dawn on me until you mentioned it. That they really don't show the kills didn't even dawn on me.
Was there one kill in the movie?
Yeah, I can't even think because I was just like, I don't know. I loved the kid. I thought he was great in it, and I was just really into the story, the kid and the father, and everything. I thought they were very entertaining. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Not bad. Okay, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. See, I didn't come down that hard on it.
That's what I figured you were going to come in at when you said you weren't going to come too low.
Yeah, I'll give it 7.
And no one likes to come too low, but I don't think I'm going to come too high. But I mean, I'm 8.5, so I'm higher than both of you. But I'm 8.5. I really, I had a grin. Oh, yeah, there it is.
You came too high. You came too high. You got something in my mouth.
Will you stop?
I meant to cocoon your eyes shut. Sorry.
That's salty. Have you been eating peanuts? Oh.
I wanted butterflies coming out of your eyes when I was through with you. Anyway, I had a smile on my face the whole time. I think I just loved the way it was shot, the way it looked, the cocks, everything. It was just a great movie. And
what's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on here? There's like, season 2, I got the wrong guys now.
We're gonna be up for the next Scream Queens Award for the LGBT fucking podcast. Now, that might get us to tier 1. Let's all just come out of the closet. Yeah. Maybe that'll help us. Tier 1. Okay. Anyway,
let's get guest star. But no, I really enjoyed this film, and it was a first time watch. And again, I'm glad it was recommended because it gave me excuses what we said this show's about. So thank you, and yeah, loved it.
Nice. Awesome. All right, yeah. Good job, Brandon. Yeah, absolutely. See?
Thanks.
Yeah, and we almost changed.
I'm so nervous. I was going back and forth.
I know, you were going back and forth. What was going to go on? Are we going to change it? What's going on with 22 Shots? Are they going to pick this movie? Those poor bastards. They got the mainstream Christmas show.
Yeah, well, we did what JP did to us with Maniac Cop. We pushed for Gremlins. Got Gremlins in there and got rear exports.
You call it a rear too?
And got rare exports out of there so we could cover it solo.
Beautiful.
Nice. Yep. Awesome.
And those guys are actually recording right now.
Oh, yes, they are. Nice. Let's crash the party.
Yeah, let's just invite ourselves in.
Yeah, this
right next door.
If I'd seen any of those movies, I would do it. I would barge right now, but the movies they're doing, I haven't seen. So, except, I think Torso, one movie, but that's it. But anyway.
They're doing the Italian show. That's right.
Yes, they're still doing Italian. We're one step ahead with the Christmas shit.
Yeah. Next show will be our 2018 show. We're going to go way ahead of them.
1 year into the future.
Yes. But yeah, the next show is the big one. Big stuff. 2016, top 10, awards, this, that, the other freaking thing, bottom 3, whatever the hell we're doing.
Now, let me ask you a quick question for this, because like you said, you're going to do a top 25. I'm going to do a top 30. Christian, I don't know what you're going to do. Tell us. Are you going to post yours after the episode drops? Because I was thinking about posting 11 through 30, like, I don't know, as soon as it's finalized. But do you think I should save it until after the episode drops?
Wait, because then that'll give things away. If they see that you have, like, for a Neon Demon at 11, then they know it's not a top 10 for you.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of movies that are, like, in that 20 that people like, they might want to see where they're going to be. I don't know. That's how I look at it.
No, I'll wait till after the show.
You've been doing this for a year. You're not a rookie anymore, man. That's a rookie.
No, I'll always be the rookie of the year. Just like Dave will be forever 40.
I'm totally teasing.
You'll be forever Canadian.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. I'm super sorry.
So sorry.
Hey, at least he's the home of more horror movies than any place we're at. I'll tell you that.
And Christian, just clear up for the listeners what you actually do for a living, because I have a friend who I was talking to who actually thought you worked for the circus.
Yes.
Sorry, Brett. I had to do it. I was training Brett last week, and she's like, "Christian works for the circus."
I'm convincing. See.
Tight ropes.
He does not work for the circus.
I don't work for the circus. Actually, funny enough, I work for an American company, just at the Canadian division, a hearing aid manufacturer, Starkey Hearing Technologies.
Stealing our jobs.
The Canadian...
Trump has to get our jobs back over here.
I'm making America great again.
Nice.
So there you go, Brett. He does not work for the circus.
Nope. The
He's a clown, but he doesn't work for the circus.
Court gesture. Nice. Anyway, no. This was great. This was fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yep. So, well, thanks for listening, guys. We're going to get out of here. And next show is the big one. Like I said, 2016. Strap yourselves in. Everybody catch up. We've given you so many recommendations. Dare I say more than any podcast going. Every week we've given you our 2016 watches for the longest time. You have plenty of recommendations. Get on those movies. Watch them. Because while we're not spoiling, we are going to probably say some plot points that you may or may not want to hear. Because whatever you're supposed to do, get on there and say, one movie, 7 out of 10. On to the next one. Top 10, okay. We have to talk about the film, is what I'm trying to say. So when you're talking about the things that you love about it, which is why it's in your top 10, you're probably going to give some plot points away. So watch as much as you can before you listen. Or if you don't care, then just listen. But we're not going to say a big plot twist. But we are going to get into them a little bit. So that's it. Yeah, everybody, happy holidays to you.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Happy,
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy whatever you celebrate.
Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
And to all, a good night.
Merry Christmas, I don't wanna fight tonight. Merry Christmas, I don't wanna fight tonight. Merry Christmas, I don't wanna fight tonight. Where is Santa and who's and tell her why is it always this way? Where is Rudolph? Where is Blitzen, baby? Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. All the children are tucked in their beds. Sugar and fairies dancing in their heads. Stumble by, it's so exciting, baby. I love you, and you love me, and that's the way it's got to be. I knew you from the start. Was Christmas at the time we're breaking each other's heart. Where is Santa and his sleigh? And tell me why is it always this way? Where is Rudolph? Where is Blitzen, baby? Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. All the children are talking their beds. Sugar and fairies dancing in their heads. Snowball firing, so exciting, baby. Ah, yeah, 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 I love you, and you love me, and that's the way it's got to be. I knew it from the start. Was Christmas at the time we're breaking each other's heart. Merry Christmas, I don't wanna fight tonight. Merry Christmas, I don't